Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
We're not going to be able to have the doors open, are we?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Bob, you want to open that door?
Oh, did you? Is it a problem? Oh, it's cold? I opened some doors after. Oh. You want me to go get you a sweatshirt? I got one.
I'm here to please. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first thing this morning, we'll ask Pastor Keith Walker from the Pahrump Community Church to give our invocation.
Thank you. Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the privilege of living in this great country and living in this great state. We thank you for the privileges that are ours as a result of the freedoms that we enjoy, and we thank you for those who fight to preserve our freedoms. We thank you for our government officials whose job, according to Scripture, is to do good for the citizens and to protect. And I pray that you would continue to provide through that means and that you would bring glory to yourself accordingly. We pray for safety, for direction, for all of these in these meetings today, both in Tonopah and here in Pahrump, as it represents all of Nye County. I pray, Father, that you would let wisdom prevail through every decision that is made, that it would indeed be for the benefit of all, and that we would be able to find your will in the center of it and accomplish your purposes. We thank you again for each one, and we pray your blessings on all, and we ask it in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior and Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I'll open this meeting of the Board of County Commissioners for Tuesday, June 7th, 2011. Next item will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Borowski.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless our troops.
Amen.
Slow it.
I don't think she will ever live it down.
Huh?
I don't think she will ever live it down.
Okay, item number 2, action approval of the agenda for the Board of County Commissioners meeting for June 7th, 2011. Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the timed agenda this morning, we need to pull the item for 10 a.m., item C as in Charles.
Okay.
In the consent agenda, item 9, pull
And Rick, we need to say why we're pulling that, because this is a bill, and by law, you have to have the public hearing even though you're not, so we need to say why we're pulling it. It's because it was never advertised.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was not advertised, it
Right.
wasn't ready to move forward.
What was the number?
It was
10 a.m., item
C.
C is Charles.
the development agreement. Somehow, the information never got to the clerk's office after we approved this item at the teleconference.
Could I also add, though, that we had asked this be pulled because we have not worked out all of the...
Right, we would have just had to
Questions.
reschedule the public hearing, so I think what we're gonna have to do, Rick, and Brian, you're gonna have to help us with this one. I think we still need to go back to that item, but, or we're gonna need to set the public hearing now, because we're gonna have to reset the public hearing, because the information never got into the newspaper to advertise it in the first
Yeah, I
place.
agree with that. So I think we need to leave it and reset the public hearing.
Yeah.
All right, rather than pull it, we're
Yeah,
just,
right, okay.
We'll come back to item C then.
all right. Continuing on, item 9, M as in Mary, pull that.
Okay?
M.
Also,
Thank you.
item 9, Z as in zebra, and B, boy, boy. Number 10, do we have any closed session for legal matters today?
Yes, I believe we have closed session on litigation.
Actually, hold, oh, never mind, I found it. Sorry.
I don't know about personnel, but we do have for litigation.
I don't believe we have any for personnel at all,
Okay.
so.
She,
Mr. Chairman, this is Pam. Yes, we do. We have an item for personnel.
All right, I sit corrected.
Thank you.
Sit corrected.
Pull item 14, 16, 17 through 19, 21. Pull item 22, B as in boy. Items 26 through 32. And I believe that's it. Up.
What's that one, Melissa B?
Rick,
There's one more. I made an error. In the road commission agenda, I was asked to pull item 6 and item 8.
did Lorinda tell you to do that?
Yes, sir.
No, good thing.
And that's it, I believe.
No, I think, we don't have any emergency items, do we?
No emergency items.
So you can strike 7 too. I've always wanted to catch you on that one.
You got me.
Okay, if that's everything, we'll go to item number 3, action approval of minutes of the Board of County Commissioners meeting, which there is no minutes.
so we can pull that one too.
Pull that one too.
And
There's
pull
no
forward.
awards, so we can pull that one too. We'll go to number 5, announcements. I don't have any forms. Is there any announcements up there in, or down there in Pahrump?
No.
Yeah, I have can I make an announcement at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 4th Annual Independence Day Parade will be July 4th, Monday. It'll be around the Calvada I. Parade will step off at 9 o'clock, but starting at 7 o'clock, there'll be a pancake breakfast put on by the VFW. Come on down, we're selling T-shirts too. Half the money go to the VFW, the other half to the Nathan Adelson Hospice Building Fund. So please come out on the 4th and have breakfast and enjoy the parade. Oh, and if you want to participate, contact Commissioner Boraski or myself.
Any other announcements?
I have one.
Well, get on.
I am really happy and very, very excited to report that we just found out this morning that Nye County received a grant award for a project that I've been working on, $1 million worth of funding for a brownfields coalition that comprises 5 counties, one of them being Inyo, California. So I might look controlled, but inside I am really jumping up and down. I am really excited. This is a first of its kind grant award. We conceived of the idea of forming a coalition to further the opportunities for transmission projects by using brownfield sites. And we asked Esmeralda and White Pine, Lincoln, and Inyo counties to join Nye County in this grant. They all voted unanimously to do that. So I'm going to have a lot of fun calling the various board representatives today to let them know that we've been selected for funding. I don't know that there's ever been a time when a brownfields grant, particularly on a coalition basis like this one is, has actually reached across a state line to bring in another county. So I'm just really, really excited about this. And Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Eastley, may I add something to that? This is Pam. I'd like to recognize Beck Environmental for all the work that they did on this grant, because they were instrumental in that award.
Yes, they were, and thank you, Pam. I was remiss in not doing that. Beck Environmental deserves absolutely the bulk of the credit for this.
Thank you.
And I'll add my congratulations. That was a lot of work.
Congratulations to us. It wouldn't have been possible if this board hadn't supported the concept, and I appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, could we pause the meeting for a minute? For some reason, it's not being recorded on Granicus, and Liz wanted a couple of minutes to try to get it
Okay,
straightened out.
we'll be back in 5.
Smoke if you got 'em.
Rick? That's the way I want to see you dressed from now on. That was 3 years. I can't do the meeting without at least one of them. Do you hear me, Liz?
Yes, I do. I'll see if I can find them.
This is like having spring fever in school. One person comes into the class and two leave. Remember those days? I'm pretending I can remember. I don't want to be accused of being too old to remember that. There we go.
Okay, we're back at the Board of County Commissioners. Item number 6, general public comment, 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on the matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. Is there any general public comment?
I'm down here.
Nope.
Okay, guys, let's get with the program. Is there any general public comment?
In Pahrump? No.
Yes, okay. Is there any general public
Oh,
comment?
wait, we got one, do we?
Oh,
It's a specific
I'm sorry,
item.
one got shoved in here when nobody was looking. I'm sorry,
Is that
Mr.
specific,
Chairman.
or is that general? That's a
It's for
specific
130, never mind.
It was a blue sheet.
You guys have forgotten how this meeting works. Item number 8, Commissioner Management comments. This item limited to announcements, topics, issues proposed for future workshop agendas. Commissioner Borowski.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just out talking to our 2 resident ducks that have toughed it out here at the Calvada Eye for quite some time now. And they kind of understand duck talk, but after being in government, it's not really that hard. So, they said to tell all of you, thank you very much for filling the pond up, and they'll do their best to try to keep it clean this time. And we'll move on from that. Saturday, we had a no to abuse celebrity auction down here in Pahrump. We raised a little over $11,000, and that's for Nye County Child Advocacy Group. And that's money that the county doesn't have to pay for that. And it was very successful. I want to thank everybody that participated in that. Also, Pahrump Valley Youth Organization, what used to be our Boys and Girls Club here. We had a fundraiser on Sunday, and I've not seen a dollar amount yet, but I don't believe it's very high, but it's something to work with our group to get our local kids here 5 to 12 into a summer program, which will be held at the Mant School site in the big metal building over there where we normally do the elections and things like that. So that's moving along quite well. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Borowski. Commissioner Stenhope.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand we will be looking at the fireworks ordinance possibly in another month. We're waiting for the towns to reply. That was something that we had talked about before. And that's it, other than to give kudos. Gary was at the last table during that poker tournament. And so how did it turn out for you, Gary?
I don't know, I think I was number 10 going out, I believe.
Yeah, well, you stuck around longer than I did. I was the first person out. I think I went all in on the second hand.
I just want it made for the record that I beat Butch out.
Yeah, you beat me too, but I think that was because you had me sit next to you. You kept telling me, bet it all, bet it all. No, all right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
All right,
this is Pam. I have,
Could you wait 1 minute, please?
I will.
Commissioner Wickman.
I would like to announce that I am involved in 3 organizations for public lands, and as of last week, I think it was Thursday, Secretary Salazar has withdrawn his secretarial order for 3311 designating wild lands in the U.S.
Yay!
everybody's taking credit for it, but there were a lot of people involved, so those organizations all had a big hand in it. Thank you.
Okay, just a quick announcement that, last Wednesday, I had the privilege of testifying in front of, I think it was, Energy and Commerce Subcommittee, in Washington DC. It was a great honor to be able to testify, on Yucca Mountain. I think they received the message from Nye County, Esmeralda, Churchill, Lander, and Lincoln counties that there is support, local support, to continue the licensing application. And I think it was made very, very clearly that we expect the Department of Energy, the Secretary of the Department of Energy, and the Chairman of the NRC to obey the law. And the law is the Nuclear Waste Policy Act, and they need to follow it. With that, Pam?
Yes, I did receive a preliminary notification yesterday of the initial impacts of the governor's budget. For Nye County, FY12 impact is $733,000. For FY13, it's $790,000. That is after the offset of the extended taxes that the governor chose to do after the Supreme Court ruling on the sweeping of the funds. So we have challenges before us that we'll be looking to incorporate into our budget, and I believe we will have a second round with the budget now as a result of these state flow-downs. Just
What
to let
is the total amount for the next 2 years?
$1,175,000.
Okay.
Where do you get that, Pam? Because mine said 1.5 million.
I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong page. It is 1,525,000 for the 2 years.
It's not 1.523,724?
Yeah,
Maybe I'm looking
I
at the
rounded to
wrong line.
25.
Oh, okay. You're an accountant, that's right.
I do those things.
Yes. And I have copies of this if anybody wants to see it.
If it was a plus, I'd take it.
It's not.
But it's a minus. Okay,
It's more pain.
we'll go to item number 9, consent.
Mr. Chairman, could I comment on 8?
Absolutely. I
Thank you. September 13th, if you would approve having a special meeting.
When?
September 13th.
June.
June?
I'm sorry, June 13th.
I was going to say, why
Okay,
don't we wait
you-
till we get to
you got-
August?
You
and-
got me confused.
It was a curve. You were looking for a curve, I threw you a slider.
Wow.
June 13th.
June 13th, special meeting.
Yeah, I told Pam to go ahead and do that early.
All right, and we also had,
Special meeting?
8:30 teleconference?
yes,
Okay.
and we also had one additional item to pull that I was just notified of, and that would be 25C as in Charles.
25C?
Yes, sir.
You already had that. So the other one must have been something else.
No, it was 25B. So it's 25B and C that's being pulled?
I didn't,
25C.
just C,
It wasn't B before? All right.
no.
Okay, we'll go to item number 9, consent
Sure, he said
agenda.
B.
Action, discussion of any item on this consent agenda item that need to be reviewed
22B.
before decision is made. Commissioners,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull 9R. I think that got onto the consent agenda by accident. It's a decision item to increase staff, and we need to talk about that.
okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
9L.
9 what?
9L, like Larry,
Okay.
for discussion.
Anything else? Motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve item 9B through K, N through Q, S through Y, double A, double C through double H.
Can I have
Second.
a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wickman to approve consent items 9B through K, N through Q, S through Y, and double C to double H,
And double A.
and double A, excuse me.
I think you should start over.
Say it a couple more times.
I think she's being facetious.
I'm in a good mood.
I have a second by
got $1 million.
Commissioner Shinhopin. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. You know, there's always got to be one comedian in the crowd.
You got two going on this morning.
You're a good straight man, though, Gary.
Yeah.
You're pushing your luck. Okay.
Yeah, but-
We'll go to item 9L, action, approval to issue a renewal hotel retail fireworks permit for D&T Import Incorporated, DBA, Area 51 Fireworks at 1381 Highway 372 in Pahrump.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to make a short statement for the same reasons I had problems with the last firework permit I have with this. That's all. Thank you.
My memory's not that long, Dan. What is it?
I believe we have already 6 issued. This would be 7, but that was the argument we had last time, and it was voted 3-1.
No, it's a renewal, Dan. It's a renewal. They already have theirs. They're just asking for it to be renewed.
Yes, but I didn't want to go into all this, but we issued one to Red Apple, which made 7, in my opinion. I was, of course, overruled on that, and I still think that this would be then 7.
Yeah, by the district attorney, yeah.
I understand.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve, second by Commissioner Boraski. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No?
Passes 4-1. Okay, we'll go to item 9R. Action approval to apply for adult drug court grant program through the U.S. Department of Justice office. Amount of $200,000.
Joni, you're the one that wanted to discuss that one.
Well, I wanted it pulled because it is, it's to fund a position, and I was under the impression that the board wanted to discuss all positions. Pam, did you have anything you wanted to add on this?
I just wanted to point out that this is a new position, it would be grant-funded. Tammy's here to answer any questions and give clarification. Is there an issue with the copy of the grant that's on the agenda, Tammy? Is that the actual final version that's in the backup?
It's not the final version, we're still fine-tuning it.
But are there any significant
There's
changes?
nothing significant changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, the position is a caseworker position, which doesn't exist under our HR structure right now, so it would have to be created, and, you know, you have to have a job description done and all that. And I just wanted you to be aware of that as you finalize if you approve the grant application moving forward. And is there any issue with the match?
There's not. A 25% match is required, Part of that will come from funds that we receive from Nye County Ordinance 256, which hasn't been earmarked for anything else, and the rest of it will come from the time that the drug court team members spend each week, and I have all that broken down if you need that.
Okay, as a volunteer
Right.
contribution to the committee that they serve
Correct.
on. Okay, gotcha.
So Pam, then, any motion, if there was a motion forthcoming from this board to approve, it would be under those restrictions, that the position is only going to be funded for as long as the grant exists.
Correct.
All right, then that's
And
my
that's
motion to...
that's Tammy's understanding too, so.
Yeah, and then I would make a motion to approve this position, but only for as long as the grant funds exist.
Second.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Easty to approve with the stipulation that the position will exist as long as the grant funding is there.
In place, yeah.
Second.
In place. And I have a second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion?
Just one more question for Pam, and Pam, that is, you said that there's no job title in our structure for that position. Do we call it something else, or is that going to be a problem? It's part-time.
No, it's just something we would have to create and get approval for as part of the
Okay.
process. So you would see that
Okay.
coming forward.
All right. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to our 10 a.m. Timed item. Action for presentation, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to approve the Nevada Department of Transportation proposed transportation system project document.
Hey, Rudy. How are you?
Good morning.
Yeah, Rudy, you can build a roundabout it on 372. I want to see how one of these things work.
Thank you, Chairman.
Go to Fallon once in a while.
No, I mean, you know.
Oh, my God.
This light thing has went on and on and on. It should have cost
You do?
$2 million, and I don't know where it is now.
Drive through Summerlin, you can get all the roundabouts you want.
This is what, it's not what I want. The state wants to do these for safety reasons. That's what I was told typically.
I love them.
I'm willing to try one, Rudy. I'm willing to
Thank you,
try
sir.
one.
375 in Pahrump Valley Boulevard, how's that? 372, sorry.
372. I don't know where 375 is. I'll have to think about it.
I'm just making up numbers.
Oh. So, Rudy,
Okay.
you
Let me
better
introduce
take this.
myself.
Well, you got me online, buddy.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Rudy Malfabon. I'm the Deputy Director for Southern Nevada for the Nevada Department of Transportation. And I wanted to mention that I think I went to high school with your district attorney. But
He's a
Brian?
local guy.
Did you go to high school with Rudy?
In Mineral County?
yes,
Yes.
he graduated a year ahead of me.
No, I want to tell you, Rudy.
Full disclosure.
I was willing to go along with the roundabout until you told me that.
I want to hear some stories.
There's no dirt on him. He was clean.
I know a
Like-
commissioner
like the
that
stories
says
about the other
different.
way.
I know a commissioner that says different.
Well, let me take a moment to introduce some of the people that are attending today from NDOT. From Las Vegas, Melvin McCallum and Joe Peltier came up from the Transportation Planning and Intermodal Planning Office in Las Vegas.
Rudy, can I interrupt you right
Yes.
there? I just want to say something about Melvin. Whenever I have a problem, his name is the first one that pops in my mind, and I send him things
Yes.
that he's not even responsible for. But I want to say that you're really wonderful about always getting back to me and taking care of the problem, whether it's in your area of responsibility or not. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I know that Melvin does a lot to track those issues and bird
Yeah.
dog those with other people at NDOT
Right.
that are responsible to give a response. I wanted to also mention that Joe Peltier is retiring this month from NDOT and moving on to greener pastures in Texas, so we'll miss him.
Oh.
Also attending today from our Tonopah Major Maintenance Station, Steve Bear, who's our Assistant District Engineer, and Cal Boney, who's his maintenance manager. We appreciate their efforts
Raise
in
your hand so
taking
we
care of
know
the
you're-
roads around here and taking care of you and your concerns. From Carson City, we have Jason Van Havel and Heather Manzo from the Transportation, this is a new division name, so I'm having a struggle with it. Transportation and Intermodal Planning Division. The purpose that NDOT does every year, as we develop our annual work program and have our review teams go out and review the roads and put them into our work program, the draft, we take it out to every county and to certain tribes across the state to request the county's approval of the annual work program, incorporate the comments from the counties, and then eventually we take it to our transportation board in the fall meeting, so that we operate on project level. We operate on a federal fiscal year, so October 1st we start anew, and we'd like to have that work program approved before that date. But the important thing is we want to hear from the counties about what are your concerns, and as you've already heard, started right off the bat on the roundabout. So that's one of the things that I'll take back with me. But we enjoy a great partnership with the counties, and we appreciate the fact that our employees are part of the communities across the state. They work to listen to what some of the concerns are year-round, not just this once-a-year deal that will be presented to the commission. Some of the areas that the NDOT is focused on, accountability is first and foremost, and as well as improving safety, being more upfront, having the integrity, commitment, respect. I think that those are some values that we try to adhere to. We want to be more transparent and try to use our website to report some of the things that we're doing to our customers and to the public. And we have regular reports to the governor and to the Assembly and Senate Transportation Committees. NDOT has adopted several performance measures. We have about 15 of them in our core focus areas. And some of them, for instance, involve permitting or how long it takes to get an agreement signed. And I know that recently we had the amendment to the agreement for the signal light on State Route 160 and Winery Road to add some additional money for some paving that NDOT wanted done there. And we were able to use the legal resources from the Attorney General's office in Las Vegas, and I'm able to sign those types of agreements. So we try to process agreements very rapidly. Permits, sometimes they have to go up to Carson City and be reviewed, but we try to have a certain time frame associated with turnaround on agreements and permits. Another area that we have a performance measure is on safety, and we've had a big drop in fatalities, but it's not enough to be satisfied with. We went from a high of 434 fatalities on our state highways and in 2006 to 256 in 2010. We've seen a slight uptick, and now a lot of that drop is associated with different factors. The economy, obviously, less people driving on the roads, but also the fact that through our strategic highway safety plan efforts, working with locals and law enforcement, educators, emergency responders, we've been trying to drive down those fatality numbers. And if you want more information on that strategic highway safety plan, you can contact NDOT Safety Division. Another thing that we've been doing is for the 511 system, we've had a heck of a winter. It just wouldn't go away, but spring has finally sprung. We're grateful for that. But we had over 1 million hits on our 511 system. Well, a lot of people use that when they're traveling to find out about the road conditions, especially on mountain passes. In the urban areas, we have the Freeway Service Patrol, and we have things that give real-time information to drivers so they can make an informed decision on which route to take, such as the dynamic message signs in Las Vegas that tell you how much travel time to expect between certain key points, maybe at the airport interchange on I-15, for instance, from where you're at. We have several planning programs in place. NDOT is taking the approach of looking at different routes in a multi-state perspective because we recognize the interstate is just that. It goes between several states, and is important to interstate commerce as well as tourism for our state. So we're looking at I-15 and looking at what jobs or what projects Caltrans is looking at, as well as the major metropolitan planning organizations in those counties along I-15 in California, looking at what we're planning on in Nevada through the Las Vegas area and up towards Arizona. A little bit of I-15 crosses into Arizona, a corner of Arizona, then it goes into Utah, so we're studying it all the way up through that corridor up to Salt Lake City. And the idea is to look at each state's programs and what they're focused on. If Caltrans is looking at freight movement and truck-only lanes, then Nevada should anticipate having some type of seamless connection with that type of system at our border. And so we're looking into those issues jointly with those states and those metropolitan areas. We're doing the same thing on I-80, doing a study from Oakland all the way up through Wyoming, so involving California, Nevada, Utah, and Wyoming. Another interesting interstate project is the possibility of Interstate 11. So we're doing a planning study on Interstate 11, which would be from Phoenix through Las Vegas and points north. We are hoping to have a designation for Interstate 11 come through Congress, not an administrative designation through the FHWA, Federal Highway Administration, but through Congress, so that gives us some time to actually deliver that. But they would designate
Interstate 11?
as a quarter. Yes, it would be a brand new interstate
Where
from
at?
Phoenix to Las Vegas, and then it would continue on up 95, possibly to all the way to Washington or through Idaho. It hasn't been defined too much north of Las Vegas, but the idea is to have a good freight corridor between Phoenix to Las Vegas and then to some point north.
I got a good idea. Why don't you take 95?
That's what we're looking at most
I'd like to
likely.
see some four-lane north.
And as far as some of the areas that we're looking at 95 is one of those.
And, if you go back to the criteria of why they have interstates, is so they can move their military and vice versa. There's no place, it intersects with all the militaries in Nye County. I mean, all either coming from the north or coming from the south or coming from the east. Everything comes into Nye County. And, for years, some of us commissioners have been rubbing our heads is why is other states with military air bases and military bases, they have four-lane highways and they're U.S. highways, and we've been forgotten for many, many years. So,
Thank you for the comment. I know that it comes down to money. And
yeah, 2 words, Yucca Mountain.
I heard your comment earlier about that. And NDOT is looking at having a balance between pavement preservation and still playing catch up with capacity projects such as interchanges or lane widenings on the freeways in the urban areas across, mainly in Washoe and Clark counties. But we try to maintain our pavements in good shape. People sometimes question why we get out there and pave a road when it doesn't seem to need it, but we're trying to stay ahead of the curve on as a pavement deteriorates. It costs you a lot more money exponentially if you let it deteriorate to the point where now you have to reconstruct it. So we try to overlay it on a regular schedule, but we just don't have enough pavement preservation money to keep up with all of the state routes. But what we're doing is using less expensive treatments. They're still cost effective, but cold in place recycling, maybe with an overlay with a hot mix asphalt, perhaps chip seals and microsurfacing or other methods that we use. Chip seals are what you spray the oil and put a layer of rock chips on it and set those down with a roller. So we use different methods and try to stretch our money as far as it can go. Maintenance is there's a lot of activities that we're looking at. We're also recognizing that because of the construction contractors being out of work, not a lot of money available from the local governments for contracts. NDOT is trying to contract out more of our smaller contracts and also maintenance activities, such as striping or signing guardrail even considering looking into snow removal in some areas. But for the most part, we are very reticent on snow removals because we feel that we're more responsive, and we've pretty much got that down. But we're not against considering contractor activities and contracting out some of those activities for that were considered to be maintenance activities before. Our maintainers have plenty of work to do, and we feel that we can help our contractors out in this present economy by contracting out more maintenance work. We have a lot of grant programs, enhancement program, safe routes to school. A lot of these grant programs go on various cycles where you submit a project and they get ranked, and the highest ranked projects get the funding. One of the things to mention, though, is you have to look at, as a local public agency, you have to look at whether you own the property, the right-of-way that your project is anticipated to be constructed on. When you get into some of the older rural areas, sometimes you have to investigate the ownership of that right-of-way. You may think that you own it, then you go back and dig into it, and from the 1800s there was somebody else owns it, maybe, or has certain rights to that property. So it's always got to be cleared for right-of-way and utilities. You may think that a sidewalk job doesn't require a lot of utility work, but sometimes when you dig down for the concrete and the aggregate base, that you're into a utility line that's more shallow than you thought. So those things have to be investigated when you're putting together your project. And we have people that will assist the local public agencies as they're scoping those projects and looking for those types of issues, environmentally, right-of-way, property-related, or utility-related. But the idea is that if we allow about 3 years to get that project out. If not, we have to pull the funding, and our focus is always to spend every dime of federal money that we do get. As far as our funding situation, we were approved for roughly a $1.2 billion budget for this next biennium. The majority of that obviously goes to capital improvement projects. We did get cut about $52 million that's going to Department of Motor Vehicles for collection of the government services tax. So that was money that used to come from the general fund, but now it's going to come from the highway fund to DMV to collect that tax. And it's less money that's available for projects then, so we have to look at, NDOT was actually looking at developing a state-funded stimulus similar to what we did with the federal funds the last couple of years. But we have to take into consideration now with the loss of that $52 million, what we can still get out the door. But our intention is to address some of the backlog in pavement preservation and some of the overlay projects, some of the chip seal projects that need to be done, and get that work out. And the federal level, the federal highway bill, transportation bill, which was Safety Lou, expired a few years ago. They're under a continuing resolution to September 30th of this year. We're hearing that the chairman of the House and the Senate committees related to transportation want to pass a multi-year transportation bill to fund highway construction and transit across the nation, but unfortunately there's no agreement yet on how to raise the revenue. If it stays the same, though, compared to the previous Safety Lou bill that I mentioned, the funding level would be about a 30% cut just because of inflation and the fact that that was a 5-year bill that's been expired for a couple of years now, nearly 2 years. So just inflation has dipped into that a bit. We're getting great prices on our construction contracts, and we would hope to see that for the long midterm.
Everybody's hungry.
Right. We want Congress to take action on that, and at least so that we know what we're going to get, because we can't make commitments on some of our larger projects without knowing how much federal aid we're going to get to pay off those contracts over several years. But we've done well as a state in spending all of our federal money. In fact, there's a couple of opportunities towards the end of the federal fiscal year where NDOT's always done well in getting other states' money that they leave on the table. So we'll usually get a few $1 million from other states that they were unable to spend, but we were able to get projects on the shelf, get them cleared environmentally, and get the projects ready to go if that extra money comes due. So I'll go into a few of the issues related to projects and programs, and then address some of the previous concerns and give you an update on some of those issues from the county. As far as enhancement projects, those are a federally funded program, and we open that up for every couple of years. We open it up in March, or the next call will be in March. We didn't receive any applications from Nye County this last time. Enhancements are primarily related to.
Was that the one for communities under 5,000, or am I confusing
That's
that?
a different.
It's an enhancement, but it's a different.
Yes.
Okay.
Landscaping and aesthetics is another one, but enhancements are typically where you see your sidewalk or transportation related. Sometimes it's even related to a historic site that's related to transportation, to rail or to the Pony Express Trail, something like. Yeah, exactly. Landscape and aesthetics is a 50-50 match, and that's typically where a lot of the rural counties have difficulty trying to find, but we will take in-kind matches for these programs, meaning sometimes you put your labor and materials to offset that match instead of coming up with cash. But we understand it's difficult to meet that match, and that's a big constraint to a lot of the rural communities. We had 5 applications on for the economic development for populations less than 5,000.
From Nye County?
Yes. And one was the Forest Highway Project from the Yamba Shoshone tribe. So tribes can also present those, and they also have chip seal from Yamba to Austin from that tribe. Both of those ranked low. Entryway signage for the community of Beatty and sidewalk expansion for Beatty ranked medium. And Steve Bear had submitted one for extending some box culverts, and that was added into a 3R project on US 95. The projects were submitted in 2010 for fiscal year 2012 funding. We had rebuilding Duckwater Road for 23.6 miles. That was a large project, nearly $25 million. So it gets difficult to fund something that size. There was one for Tonopah Amphitheater to make improvements to the asphalt parking lot, lighting, and sidewalk, which is $390,000, a lot more reasonable. Tonopah Historic Gateway Enhancement for establish a park-like atmosphere, about $188,000. The Tonopah Downtown Sidewalk Improvements was submitted again, and that's one that wants to get in compliance with ADA, Americans with Disability Act, and that's a $400,000 project that was submitted. So I haven't heard about the ranking of those projects yet, but we'll be able to let you know as soon as that ranking comes out.
Sandy said it would probably be September.
Okay, thank you. Some highlights from previous projects. In fiscal year 2010, we had $1.5 million on various projects, mainly a lot of chip seal projects that we had on the state routes 375, 376, 377, 379, and State Route 844, Ione Road. We've done some more extension of box culverts in past years just to get the ends of those culverts away from the road and flatten the slopes in those areas, get people more recovery for safety improvements at those locations. The Tonopah subdistrict has done a lot with flattening slopes and making more of a recovery area, which enhances safety for drivers. We've done a lot with centerline rumble strips. I know some people don't like them, but we find that they're effective at getting people's attention when they start getting drowsy.
I don't mind them. It's just when they're too deep. They tend to want to take the wheel out of your hand.
They always annoy me, but they wake me
Pardon
up.
me?
They always annoy me, but they do wake me up.
Let me know when you're on the road then, Dan. I'll stay home.
That's why I stayed here today.
Another thing that we did previously was the ARA, or Federal Stimulus Project on Gamebird Road. We worked with NACO to get money to the counties directly, and our director, Susan Martinovich, did a great job of spreading that money around the state, because recognizing that money was supposed to create jobs, and a lot of areas of the state had a depressed economy, and especially in the construction industry. So we spread that all around the state, had a lot of smaller projects, but did a great job in spreading that around and having the opportunity all around the state. In 2011, we continued doing a lot of the RCB extensions, such as on US 6, chip seals on US 6, microsurfacing, which is one of those cost-effective strategies that will keep a road kind of held together until we can come back with an overlay. We did a microsurfacing on State Route 160 near Wheeler Pass Road. Also, we do other things with maintenance forces such as flush seals and scrub seals, just to seal the road, prevent water from getting into those cracks and deteriorating the pavement. We also have 3R projects. 3R projects are our typical overlay projects where we can sometimes cold mill, get a good surface, put down an overlay 2 inches to 3 inches of hot mix asphalt, and then we put a thin lift of what we call open graded asphalt, a hot mix over that for drainage and better friction. In 2012, well, we have 5 projects totaling over $12.4 million estimate. Start with a chip seal on US 6 from the junction of California Avenue to just east of Salisbury Wash Rest Park. We also have on US 95 a microsurfacing project from milepost 103.6 to about 107. On US 95 in Clark from the Clark and Nye County line to 0.87 miles north, we have a cold mix, plant mix bituminous surface with that open graded surface for friction. We also have on State Route 373 an overlay project that's $4 million.
Rudy,
Yes.
we just did something to that road.
Sometimes.
2 years ago, chip sealed it.
Was it a chip seal? Chip
Remember
seal.
I think we grounded it up too.
You recall that one, Steve? Okay.
And that.
So this one, sometimes we'll do a cold-in-place recycle with a chip seal, but what we prefer is to do a cold-in-place recycle with an overlay, so it.
Do we have
has
a problem
better
with
surface.
the mix?
No, that road does get a lot of heavy truck traffic, so in order to improve the
I'm gonna go to.
we had extra funding, so we put together an overlay.
Okay.
Yeah, so a cold-in-place recycle can be susceptible to a little bit of rutting from heavy loads. So we usually if we have the money, we like to put a hot asphalt overlay over that. So the chip seal kind of held it in place.
I thought we did it a couple years ago.
We do that sometimes. Well, because the money has been kind of uncertain with from the federal level. We know roughly what we're going to have from the state level, because that's pretty stable, the gas tax from state revenue. But at the federal level, we don't know how much we're going to get. So sometimes we'll do a chip seal to hold a road together, and then a couple years later have the money available to do an overlay on it like we wanted to do in the first place. Yes.
May I offer a comment on State Route 373? I've gotten a lot of complaints from, that's in my commission district, from a lot of complaints from the folks who live out there about the perceived very poor job that was done on that road a couple of years ago. I made several calls about this to see if there was something that could be done to take care of the problems, and I was told that your agency wanted to wait for a couple of years and see what it did. Well, I'm still getting complaints about it, so I would urge you to contact some representatives of the Amargosa Valley Town Advisory Board to find out specifically what their concerns are.
We'll do that. This is a significant overlay, about nearly 16 and a half miles, so hopefully it'll address that area, but we'll find out exactly if we're not.
Okay, thank you.
And the last project was Access Road Access Road 44 to Sandia Missile Test Site.
Is that Rocket Road? That's Rocket Road.
Must be, because.
Yes, yes.
That's just on the airport.
And that's just a scrub seal.
Goes TTR.
It's where you lose your cell phone signal.
Yeah.
Right there.
The secret base.
Yeah.
Some of the previous transportation issues that have come up from Nye County, the desire to widen from Calvada to the Nye-Clark County line. That project is still on the long-range element. Right now, we're taking off from. We have a project to do the environmental clearance, and it's closer to Las Vegas from Mountain Springs down towards the cutoff to Red Rock, and we're kind of working our way out with that. The desire is to have widening all the way from Las Vegas to Pahrump on State Route 160, but it's going to take a while with a lack of funding for a lot of that. But I see it as a high priority for for Southern Nevada. So I've been pushing for that to continue, and I'm glad that at least we're proceeding with the environmental clearance, because we have to go in steps and get an environmental clearance first, see if there's additional right-of-way or other issues for drainage that we have to take care of, and then eventually get to the construction phase.
You got plenty of right-of-way, just build it.
Usually we do on these state routes. We don't have a lot of money is the problem. The other issues
Yeah, but
come up
you've got plenty of right-of-way, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Hopefully.
I'm just pulling his leg.
Well, if you guys would hurry up and build that bridge, we could have some more money.
The other issue of flooding on State Route 372 in Vanovich, there is a project to just extend the pipes and clean them out. We couldn't do a lot with changing the profile of the road without FEMA approval, and we just want to do something that will at least improve the situation now, but it will not eliminate the flooding, unfortunately. That's a huge issue in that area, that we don't have the money to address that. County signs within the right-of-way, we addressed that with a stipulation of no advertising, no private advertising. You could advertise for public events on that sign that you got from the developer with a changeable message sign, and it's in the right-of-way. Directional signs on US 95 near the State Route 373 junction for Amargosa Valley and Ash Meadows. We did talk with Melvin followed up with John Roberts, our traffic staff, traffic engineering staff in Las Vegas, and they're putting in a work order to replace or improve 4 exit signs or signs that stipulate about Amargosa Valley and Ash Meadows on 95. So they'll have those signs in this year, hopefully, before the end of summer. Usually what they do is they put the work order in, the signs are made up in the Reno sign shop, and they're delivered down, and the maintenance crew just schedules the work, so it shouldn't be too long. Another one was funding assistance, as I mentioned previously, at the traffic signal on State Route 160 and Homestead Winery Road. We increased the amount of that funding for the additional pavement that we wanted done, and that amendment was approved. I signed that amendment a few weeks ago, so we're on the way on that one. Just a question, when was the permanent signal going to be installed? I wasn't certain. Do you have an idea?
It's Dave
It just
Fanning.
went out to bid.
Oh, it went out to bid?
It's just
Okay.
not going out to bid.
Usually, I know that they take some time to procure the poles and all that stuff to fabricate them, so we figure about within 6 months after.
I think we're waiting on NDOT.
Probably, I wouldn't doubt it. I shouldn't ask, huh? And then the issue of the shoulders on State Route 160 from Pahrump north to US 95 has been an issue, and we've been following up with that. Some would like to repair the shoulders. We're looking at I asked Mary Martini, our district engineer, about that, and she's going to look into that. Obviously, if we have a serious drop-off issue, we want to address that. Sometimes you'll see, as soon as the maintenance is able to get some shoulder material dropped in there and motor grader it in place. And but sometimes if we have, like this year, such a wet winter, you get a lot of erosion along the shoulders. So we'll have to check into that and make sure that
I actually
we're
had that
having a
on my
safe
list
condition.
to ask you. I noticed there's a gentleman who lives in my commission district here this morning, and he was almost killed on that road because of, and his wife there, because of those shoulder issues. They had no place to go when somebody was coming at them head on. So we would really appreciate it if you would consider that a priority.
Okay.
Thank you.
We definitely will look into that. And but pretty much that's the extent of some of those issues. I know that we're waiting on a response from traffic operations in Carson City about the warrants on the traffic signals. That's something that Commissioner Boraski had asked about, and we'll be getting that information back to the commission. As far as renaming State Route 160 to Veterans Memorial Highway, I know that Mary Martini has had a letter sent out, and we've had some response back on just dedicating the highway to veterans. And we had the idea is that we already have U.S. Highway 95 is designated as Veterans Memorial Highway, so we don't want to confuse the public by having two highways designated the same name, or, so what we're proposing is do something similar to what you see around Searchlight. This, instead of highway segment, I think it was just going to be this highway dedicated to veterans.
All for veterans, that's what you do outside of
And it was, I think it was
Hawthorne.
just a generic
Yeah.
statement. I do have the letter.
That, Rudy, that should read dedicated to U.S. Veterans, correct, Tom? Yeah.
Yes. I said, highway dedicated to United States veterans.
Yes.
So we were going to take the word segment off of there and just have highway dedicated to United States veterans. And that was a pretty large sign, about 5.5 feet by nearly 3.5 feet. So very notable. We'll have one in each direction, and we'll work on getting that installed on State Route 160.
Oh, so that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Yes.
If I might jump in here a minute, I want to thank all of the NDOT people from Las Vegas to Carson City to Sparks on those two signs. I did talk to Mary the other day on that, and I want to thank all of you for quick reaction to that. Also, I had another item that I thought I asked for was I have a letter dated May 2nd from Mary about crosswalks at Saddle West. Did you have anything further on that? We were real close on that. We were a medium category 49.83, and we only had to get a little over 50 to qualify. So do you have anything on that, or?
No, I know that she's checking into that. We'll have a response back to you, Commissioner, and to the County Commission on that issue of the crosswalks.
Okay, and I believe, I don't know if I'd heard you say it, but along 160 here in Pahrump, I also wanted a comment back on putting, I know there's different parts of the country where when they regrade the shoulders, they add either a tar or some kind of a spray it or something to stabilize it to keep it in place. Is there anything you could do when you do the shoulders here in Pahrump? Because most times they're getting rutted out within sometimes days.
Yeah, we had our assistant district engineer for maintenance look into that, and a lot of times the spray that is commonly used is more for a dust palliative or dust control, but there are other treatments that some other communities or states have looked at to prevent erosion, maybe mixing in a cement compound, but it's very expensive. I think that we're going to look at the possibility of when we do a cold mill overlay, you can put the millings on the shoulder, and it's something that it's not as pretty as a natural gravel, but it's more stable and provides a harder surface to run on if you do turn off the road there. But and it's less erodible. So we will look into that, but it probably wouldn't be a spray compound because those would not hold up to the erosion like was passed.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And also, we are looking at traffic counts and crash data at the issue of roundabouts and traffic signals and warrants. So we're looking at specifically State Route 160 at Mesquite Road, State Route 160 at Wilson, State Route 372 Pahrump Valley Road, and State Route 372 at Blag. And the chairman had talked to me about Pahrump Valley and Blag specifically as possible candidates for attention from NDOT. I thought that some of those previously had met warrants, but we want to get the latest information from traffic operations. So with that, I'm willing to answer any questions on any new issues or any clarification on some of the issues that I talked about, and then respectfully request County Commission approval of our annual work program.
Thank you, Rudy. Commissioner Whitman.
Yes, I have two things I would like to say. You brought someone with you from Carson City, so I'm taking advantage of the situation.
Sure.
I had an opportunity, I'm the point of contact for the minor county road inventory that Nye County is doing. When we developed our procedures, I had much input from Eric Wormuth. He was great to work with. He was very helpful. And I appreciate all the time that he put into this for me. And then he introduced me to Dave Manning, who was present every time I had to testify in front of the Assembly or the Senate to get SB 49 passed. And I really appreciate the help out of that Carson office. The other thing I wanted to say is I like traffic circles. I was in Germany for 2 years. They're really, really tight in Germany. I like the big ones we have here.
Oh, yes. Traffic circles are the big ones, but roundabouts are the smaller ones.
You know, that's
Same
probably because I
concept.
drive standard transmission most of the time, and I hate sitting there with both feet on the floor at a stop sign trying to, you know.
I
So-
actually learned something last week on there's a video that explained to the public how to drive through roundabouts, and one of the things that always aggravated me is that I always thought I could get cut off, but I learned that if I'm in the outside lane, I can't make a U-turn in a roundabout. I'm supposed to turn either at the first opportunity or the second, because the guy in the lane next to me can turn at the second one. He can make a right-hand turn. So I always thought, hey, he's turning in front of me, but I was the one that was wrong. So I admit it, and I think that roundabouts are, once people get used to them, we had one in Elko where people didn't want to see that happen. We're getting some in Mesquite, but the one in Elko is positively viewed by the public now, and they love it. The one in Mesquite, there's two going in at interchange there, so we're looking forward to how those work out. We believe that they're a good solution and improvement to safety once they get in there and people learn how to drive through them, like me.
Maybe I just haven't driven them enough. I'm not used to them. I'm only used to dodging cattle. Dodging traffic coming from 4 different directions is totally different.
Rudy, if you're gonna put the roundabouts, maybe they need to do the ones with the training wheels like they put in Summerlin, so that they
I'm
force
gonna find
you
out
into
where you
lanes.
live, put one right in front of your house.
Commissioner Easley.
Yeah. One personal issue. You all had asked me to participate in reviewing and ranking proposals from engineering firms on Phase 2 of Connecting Nevada. I couldn't go to the interviews because we got snowed in here. I couldn't get out of town. Whatever, was that awarded? Were those awarded? Who got the contract? Oh, okay.
HDR got the
Okay,
award.
I never heard the final word. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your help on ranking those.
Yeah, just another little piece of recognition. I say this every time. We really love our Tonopah guys, and thank you, Steve, and thank you, Cal. We appreciate you. They're easy to work with, and we love to collaborate with them on projects. It helps them, and it helps Nye County, and we appreciate them. And if I could also pass along a little recognition to NDOT Aviation, Eric Glick, Bill Thompson, and Matt Furity. Just 3 really terrific guys to work with. I met them as a result of, well, not just participation in Nye County Airports, but Nevada Airports Association, and they're really active. And I just can't think of anything negative to say about you, except that you don't have enough money, but that's not your fault. Because I really would like to have seen Airport Road in Tonopah repaved before I left office, but maybe someday we'll see that. Yeah. All right.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your comments.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy, I've never heard on 372 up there by Banovich, we were talking about putting a box culvert in there.
Right, and we couldn't change the drainage situation there with box culverts, but we are going to extend the pipes and clean out the existing pipes.
Because I'm telling you, if I could get that water to go faster south, then all that water that backs up in my district there on the west side of, you know, every time it rains to the farther north, like up there at 160 and Roadrunner, that water comes down through there. It takes 3 days after the rain stops for that water to move out of that area and go on toward the dry lake bed.
I know
And I really believe it's just bottleneck right there at 372.
They had our hydraulics engineers look at that, drainage engineers, and they felt that there were some hurdles there they couldn't overcome with FEMA. And probably when you get into those types of situations, sometimes it involves the Corps of Engineers with flooding too.
So what are they gonna do with it?
They're going to extend existing pipes and clean those out so that it's better flow of the stormwater.
Okay. Commissioner Boraski?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, along with what you were just saying, when that water gets to the other side, we're gonna need to get Mr. Fanning to talk to BLM about, deepening that channel so that when the water does get to the other side, it will keep going. Because I don't believe that's.
I checked on that, and that's not a BLM piece of property.
It isn't.
No, that's private.
Okay.
But channel is there, under our codes, that, we would have something to say about how they build, around that piece of property. I mean, they're not gonna be able to cover up that channel. They're gonna have to engineer so that water continues on south.
Do you know if we have their permission to clean that channel out?
I believe we have tried in the past, but I'm sure I'll get you the information, Commissioner Bresky, and maybe between both of us we can try.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Shinhopin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just ask that if NDOT could forward those roads that do currently meet warrants to us. I know that back in 06, 07, that there were a few that did, Plum Valley Boulevard and 372, Blag and 372, Mesquite and 160, and I would like to see what currently you have that meets warrants, and then we could go forward from there to see what we can do to get some control there.
And, that was my recollection too, that some of those did meet warrants previously.
Yes, so if you could, I'm sure that, I'm not sure, but maybe the other board members would like those too, but if you could get those to me, I would greatly appreciate it.
We'll get it to all of the commissioners.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay, Rudy. I think that's it. Thank you.
Well, we need a motion
Hold
on
on.
this.
Yeah.
You know, until you guys, when she gives you attaboys, she'll get even.
Only with you, Gary. Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve, second by Commissioner Shinhopin. Further discussion? Call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes 5-0.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
The county now? Oh, okay. Buy some gas here, too.
Turquoise shop right down the street as well.
Okay, we'll go to 10 a.m. Item B, action, public hearing, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to adopt and adopt or reject Nye County Resolution number 2011-18, a resolution adopting and certifying the 2011 update of the 1994 Nye County Comprehensive Master Plan. Mr. Lacy.
Just open the public hearing.
Actually, Cheryl Beeman's going to handle this, so.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone have anything to say on the bill 2011-18? Anyone having any comment on this bill or public comment on 2011-18?
It's not a bill. It's just a resolution.
I mean, a resolution, 2011-18.
Nothing here, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing.
Cheryl, I have a question. Do you think we need to mention wild lands? Is that, Lorinda, do you think that's a bullet we've dodged? I thought that was conspicuously absent from this document. I know we talked about WSAs, and I guess wild lands are just,
Another
de facto,
synonym, right.
yeah, de facto.
However,
Gary, could you move that microphone down? It's right in the middle of her face. Thank you.
Secretary Salazar made the statement that any further designation in that direction would be done by Congress. So I think we have dodged that bullet.
Okay.
So I didn't see it mentioned in here.
Yeah,
specifically.
I didn't either, and
okay.
I thought it was conspicuously absent, but I was wondering if we kind of dodged the bullet with that.
And actually, if we were to put wild lands in there, then I have about 4 other synonyms I've been running across lately that are coming up for the same thing
So
for
obviously,
WSAs.
you know what my concern is,
Yeah,
because
I
we
do.
mention wilderness areas and we mention WSAs, but we don't say anything like, or in any other forms such as wild lands or...
Yeah, we have been pushing extremely hard, though, to have congressional approval on anything that comes up like that. So we'll see. And if I understand correctly, we can make amendments to this
Yeah,
as things
absolutely.
come about. So I wasn't too concerned about it being missing.
I only had and Cheryl, I can contact you with these. It is nothing that changes the substance of the document whatsoever, but there's one of the captions for a photo that's incorrect, and I know you probably got the list of places from the National Register of Historic Places.
Correct.
I'm sure you just downloaded that information. I don't even know how we fixed that. Some of these places don't exist anymore, but some of the addresses are just wrong, like mine. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, your address is up on the hill.
I know, and
The
I'm
castle.
my house is on the National Historic Register, but they have it listed as being on a different street, and I'm sure it came from the register.
It did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I better go home and check.
I think we want to get that right, Cheryl. Cheryl,
Absolutely.
I think we want to get her address
Well,
corrected.
but it doesn't matter to me, but it might have come from the National, I'm sure they just downloaded the
We
information
did.
from the
We
register.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to go back and fix some of those, because some of these places are just, they don't exist anymore.
Why don't you help
We
us
might
fix
need,
that?
I think I will. I think I'll do that. But otherwise, good job. I thought it was good. Good job, Gary. It was a lot of work. You did a good
Lot of
job.
work.
Attaboy.
Well, I had a good committee. Commissioner Boraski, Cheryl Beeman, Darrell Lacey, myself, and Greg Hapen.
Yeah, everybody did a wonderful job.
Good job.
And I truly appreciate you taking into consideration all my concerns that I had, Cheryl, and making those
Yeah, the
corrections.
dots and the periods and the T's.
Oh, it wasn't just that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2011-18.
And I will second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to adopt resolution number 2011-18, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. See, Cheryl, I told you not to worry.
Thank you.
Cheryl worried? Were you worried?
I mean,
No,
it's a
that's
disaster.
because, oh, no. You know me, I'm not bashful. If I had something to say, I would have said it. I thought it looked good.
Good presentation, Cheryl. Thanks.
You ready to go and close? Okay, we're gonna go to closed session. We're gonna go to labor first. We're gonna go to 11D, action closure of meeting pursuant to NRS 241.
Then don't you want to go to A? If you're going to go to labor first?
No, I'm at litigation.
Oh, okay.
NRS 241.015, subsection 2B2, for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel regarding potential or current litigation.
Motion to go into closed.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to go into closed session, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Ladies and gentlemen, in the south and in the north here, we're going to have two closed sessions. we'll come back out and we will do, if we have time permitting, we will do labor. I'm getting dirty looks. We will be back at 1:30. I'll try to get you on as soon as we come back at 1:30. I'll see what I can do for you. Started. We'll go to the 10:50 timed item, presentation on completed Park and Recreation Commission project. Who are we talking to?
How was lunch?
Wunderbar.
All
Too
right.
much of it.
What do you need?
They're trying to get
Oh.
the presentation together.
What are you seeing in Pahrump, Dan?
Seeing Nye County Parks and Recreation and myself. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Are you seeing the individuals, or are you seeing their presentation?
I just see the presentation thing right now.
I just wondered if you was in your little world.
I usually am. Aren't we all? I mean, reality is,
I've been accused of it a couple of times here lately.
reality is subjective.
Right, Luana?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm in my own little world. By myself.
That is scary.
Okay, all right, now I got that screen again. What are you guys seeing? Yeah. Yeah, myself here in Nye County Parks and Rec. Yeah, that's good. Good. I think Butch is going to sit in the audience. I got the gavel. Gary forgot to take his gavel with him. Motion to adjourn? Oh,
Sam, how many times do I have?
Is there any chance we can get this one on and she doesn't have to crane her neck? Green light.
My name is Irene Carlisle.
And my name is Deb Cobb with Nye County Parks and Recreation.
We're here today, there's one other member who has not shown yet, okay. We're here today on behalf of the Nye County Parks and Recreation Commission. It would be an understatement to describe the last few months as painful for you. You've been forced to make some difficult decisions that will affect all of us. Nonetheless, there is some good news out there, other than besides what Commissioner Easley reported this morning. There is some good news out there, and we would like to share it with you. As you know, the Parks Recreation Commission is responsible for soliciting grant proposals from public and nonprofit entities in the county for projects intended to improve recreational facilities. We then forward our recommendations to the county commissioners who make the final award. The projects vary widely in scope. Some are a one-time effort involving one piece of equipment or structure. Others are multiphasic and are funded over successive years. But all projects have this in common. First, they are designed to enhance the quality of life for Nye County citizens. And second, they are all matched by at least 1/4 with in-kind contributions or services, which usually include volunteer time. In this way, every project represents a partnership between the county and the grantee. Since FY08, approximately 40 projects have been funded and completed, and today we would like to share the end results with you. This is a slide presentation. The first 4 slides won't have any photos, but there is text, and then we do have some nice pictures to look at. If you have any questions, please interrupt at any time. Okay, let's go. Where are you? Did you move forward? Okay, good. Okay, first is Armagosa Valley, and you can see what was done there. Some of these don't have photos, one because they didn't lend themselves to photography. The other is because when photos were transmitted, the format was wrong, so we could not download it. This is Armagosa. Next is, I gotta move so I can see the screen. I don't know what I'm looking at here. This is the town of Belmont. I wish we had the photos for this because it was beautiful. They've done wonderful work out there. Yeah. Beatty General Improvement District. They have done a lot of work in Beatty, improving both the swimming pool and the Cottonwood Park project. This is primarily the swimming pool area. And many of these, this may be more than one grant, but these are all the things that were purchased with grant funds.
Irene, if you don't mind, you might want to read those, because we're kind of cut off
Oh,
from
I'm sorry.
part
Okay,
of that
sure.
screen.
Swimming pool slide, lifeguard chair, barbecues, park benches and tables, bowler's lights. I don't know what a bowler's light is. I think they're those domey things that sit on the ground. Park lights, and a lawnmower, a very nice lawnmower. Next, we go to Current Creek in Railroad Valley, a barbecue pit. The volunteers out there prepared the site, did a lot of work in prepping the site, and they have also built a lean-to to cover that pit to keep the rain out. Picnic tables, a PA system, and playground equipment.
But I went out to that also, and
Say again?
I went out to that
You've been out
really,
there?
and it looks really nice, and the community really enjoyed it.
Next is Duckwater Shoshone Tribe, physical fitness equipment, and they also purchased a health and wellness program, a very extensive one, so that is used by both tribal members and the public. And I believe we have 2 slides for that. Yeah, so you can see there's a lot of, I think those are dumbbells up there. So, next slide is the Tonopah Senior Center, a picnic shade area.
She wasn't talking about you, Dan.
Thank you, I got concerned.
No, but you would be welcome out there. Next, Debbie's rushing ahead here. The Tonopah Chuckers. I learned something. Didn't know what chuckers were, and I learned, I guess, they pitch horseshoes. So this is, I was really impressed by this, even though I don't know anything about the chuckers or horseshoes, but All of this was paved in with concrete, central walkway, each pitching area separated by concrete. There's some state tournaments that are held here, so it's a nice one. Next, the town of Tonopah purchased a park tractor. This is kind of fun. This is kind of like toys, I think, for men. It's a park tractor with multiple accessories. Has all kinds of stuff, including a pallet fork, a soil conditioner, a roto cutter, et cetera, et cetera. And you can see, some of you may know what these are. I have no idea. But they're all part of the tractor. And it's used to maintain the parks, and of course is a multi-purpose machine. Okay, we can go forward. These are 2 shade shelters that were purchased that are in the Tonopah Pocket Park. The slide on the right was taken during the farmers market, which is held each summer. They anchor the park. People use these shelters extensively during good weather. And at the bottom is a picture. It's blurry on my glasses, but a number of good trash receptacles were purchased with grant funds. Okay, Debbie. Town of Tonopah, swimming pool heater. Yes. Tonopah Parks, we moved one of the shade shelters up to Highland Park, and also a roof for the swimming pool. You're looking now at self-storage units that were purchased with grant funds. This is in Tonopah at the Joe Friel Sports Complex. The next 2 slides are relating to the Tonopah Historic Mining Park, a video screen and projection system. Unfortunately, when I took these photos, the projection system wasn't available. It was locked up, so I don't have a picture of that, but it's a system. We have a picture of the screen and one of the patrons. And also, as part of that grant, a number of signs that were purchased and designed for the walking tour as part of the ongoing development of the mining park. You're looking now at the Manhattan Humphrey Park project. That's their banner, which is flown from one of the flagpoles that was purchased with the grant funds. And if you go on, there'll be another bright chain link fence, a blue spruce tree, and one other, it's a blue spruce. There we go. The flagpole with solar lighting, canopy and picnic tables. We move now to Round Mountain. There was an upgrade of both the men's and the women's restrooms. Okay, next one. More restrooms. That was the pool roof and the skylights. This is all in Round Mountain. At Hadley Park in Round Mountain, playground equipment, a portion of it that was purchased with grant funds. Again, this is the Donald Simpson Community Center, and I believe this is still in Round Mountain, I think.
Yes.
This is the baffle system. Sportsman's Park with one of my favorite projects, because again I learned something new. On the right is a picture of a sweet-smelling double vault toilet building.
I still think it's an oxymoron.
Along with benches, picnic tables. A lot of work was done on by volunteers in repairing the roof of the structures there. The materials to fix the roof were of course provided by grant funds, but they did the work. Now we go to the Tonopah Rodeo grounds, and there are some llamas enjoying their new home. These are open cattle pens. These are pens. Is there another term for them, Deb? This is your panels installed. So the llamas? Okay. This is the one photo I got of Beatty at Cottonwood Park. They have done a lot of work on this park. This is one of the multi-phase projects. I think there were 3 phases for Cottonwood. And I have been down there, and it looks good. The last 2 slides are, again, just text showing some of the miscellaneous projects. Water pumps for Sportsman's Park, shade shelters and rhyolite, corral panels. This is at the rodeo grounds down here. Mobile power grid, PA system, gates for holding pens, cattle panels, swamp cooler. This was at the fairgrounds. And the last slide, I think, is a shade canopy. Again, this was at Smoky Valley Rodeo Grounds. A lot of work was done there. A good tractor, scoreboard, wash rack, materials for the concession stand, and AC for the new crow's nest. Bleachers, playground equipment, power grader, and a shade tent for the For Our Kids group. Any questions? Let me rip through this fairly quickly. Okay, this concludes the presentation. On behalf of the Nye County Parks and Rec Commission, we thank you for the funding that allowed these projects to happen. They've made a significant difference in the quality of life of the people who live in Nye County. Thank you.
Thank you. Great presentation, Irene.
Thanks, Linda. Yes, this was done by
Thanks, Tim Marie.
by Cossack Production Company.
Sam?
Is she here?
No, but she's in control of them. I'd never say that. Did you take that? Hey.
No, this is my garbage.
Okay, we'll go to our 10:15 timed item, recess to the Nye County Board of Road Commissioner. Commissioner.
Thank you. Okay, this will open the Nye County Board of Road Commissioners for June 7th, 2011. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 public hearings, and we're going to hear them all at once as one complete item. So I will open the public hearing for discussion on items A through I. Is there anyone in Pahrump who wishes to speak on any of these items?
You got anybody, Butch? No. No, it's nothing here in Pahrump.
Nothing?
No.
No one here in Tonopah? For or against? Nope. I'm going to close the public hearing.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve item A through I.
Okay, adopt?
Adopt.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolutions 2011-16, 17, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0 with Commissioner Eastley is absent. We don't have any meeting minutes for last Commissioners' meeting, so we will remove item 1. Is there any general public comment in Pahrump?
No.
Any here? We'll move along. The general road report by the Public Works Director. Stretch was standing in for Dave Fanning, and he had to leave. So are there any questions for Stretch? We can get him back over here if you need to speak with him.
We have Jared down here.
Oh, do you? Good.
Yeah, we have Jared and Frank Rakes. Frank Rakes.
Frank Rates. Wonderful.
And I would like to say, if I could briefly, I'll miss Jared. This is going to be his last meeting, I guess, with us.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
One more? Oh, we might squeeze one more out of him, I'm told. Okay. No, he's shaking his head no. Okay.
Do you guys have anything to add to the road report?
Road report stands as it is. There's no changes. Nothing to add.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the guys? Dan? Butch?
Not at this time.
No. Okay. I only have one.
I knew it.
Well, no. It's just a follow-up, if you would, Jared. if you have, and maybe possibly be more for Frank. In the Beatty area, there was a request that we put through a couple months ago to replace a sign that says no trucks on a side road that would, if you're going into the fuel station after that four-way stop, right before that coming from the south, the side road before that, the trucks use that to go in and enter the fueling station from the backside, and it apparently tears up the pavement pretty bad. We had a request about 2 months ago to replace the no truck signs to keep some of the traffic down, and I got a call a few days ago saying that it hadn't been done yet. Have you been down that road, Frank?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why we reconstructed Watson, was so that the trucks could come in the back to the service station. And then your request confuses me a little. I thought you were talking about 4 streets down where Bombo Cottonwood lives.
Actually, you're right. I'm sorry. I got confused. I've slept a couple times since I put in that request, but you're exactly right, Frank. That's the one I was talking about.
Okay, and there was some conflicts as why we took those down, and then I referred it back to the town of Beatty as to whether or not they wanted those put back up. And I haven't heard back from them whether they wanted them or not.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate the follow-up on that.
You're welcome.
If there's no other questions do you have any questions for either of us? Okay, we'll move on to items 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We're going to take them as one item, and this is to set the time, date, and location for public hearing.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to set a date, time, location for RC, well, you've already read them, so, July 5th, 2011, Road Commissioners Meeting, Tonopah, Nevada, 101 Radar Road.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0 with Commissioner Easley still missing in action. Move.
Motion to adjourn.
Please.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Okay, we're back to the Board of County Commissioners. We'll go to our 10:38 timed item, recess to the Nye County Licensing and Liquor Board. Commissioner?
I'd like to open up this meeting of the Nye County Licensing and Liquor Board for June 7th, 2011. Item 1, approval of the minutes. There's none available. 2, general public comment. 3-minute time limit per person requested to be limited to items not listed on the agenda. No action will be taken by the board. Any public comment in Tonopah?
No.
Do you have any public comment in Pahrump? Hearing none, we'll close public comment. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve item 3B.
And this is Sheriff of Nye County. Before we continue with that, I do have some concerns over this particular 72-hour permit.
Okay.
I'll wait for a second, though.
Well, I do need a second.
Second.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. It's come to our attention that there may be some parts of this rodeo which may not be in conformance with our NRSs or our local county ordinance. When they request a 72-hour permit, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kunze, is that they open themselves up for inspection by Nye County Sheriff's Office because it becomes a public event, and because they are giving this privileged license, we are allowed to go on property to inspect and make sure they're in conformance with the law. Is that not correct, Mr.?
We don't have
He's not here.
the DA's office here at the moment.
Oh, you
He's
don't?
with Joni.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that's, okay, but that's according to our ordinances, that's what they request, it's a privileged permit. I'll just say this, is that we will make sure we have deputies that routinely inspect this event, because this is the first time I've ever heard of this ranch, but I know that there's been some concerns that have been expressed at the Sheriff's Office in reference to the aspects of this rodeo. And given that caution and caveat, I'll wait for the board's direction.
Well, would you like us to wait until Mr. Kunze comes back and we'll just trail this item?
That, we could do that, Mr. Chair. I would appreciate
Yeah, all right,
that.
then I'll trail this item for a short period of time till Mr. Kunze comes back. And Commissioner Hollis, do you want to go back to the regular meeting?
Okay, you don't have anything on 4 or 5, and
Nope.
motion to adjourn?
Second.
Third.
Are you sure you want to adjourn if you're going to come back to this item?
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't-
Yeah, we're going to continue the item, so,
okay, go ahead. We're back to the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you.
Um,
11H.
We'll go to item 11H, action, discussion, possible decision, and direction to staff on approval to waive the tipping fees at the Pahrump landfill for construction of the new Pahrump Senior Center to be built on Wilson Road.
Commissioner Hollis, can I have a little clarification? Is that for just the demolishing of the building that's there and removing it?
Yes,
Okay, I have two public comment forms there on that.
okay?
Your light on?
Oh, turn the light
Your
on.
name, spell your last name.
Last name is Groneman, Gronemann. First name is Jim. Good afternoon, Commissioners and staff. We're here in support of the agenda item to waive the tipping fees to get rid of the old donut shop on Wilson Avenue. With me is our secretary, Cora Bishop, and our trustee, George Jensel, representing the senior center. And we understand that 4 or 5 years ago, the commissioners really came into the arena and supported the senior center, and now we've grown so much. We do need the new senior center, and any money we can save in the construction of it would be appreciated.
Thank you.
We're in favor of this because we are a 501c3, and Dr. Gunter is being very generous with us right now and helping us out get this new senior center. And the more you guys can help him out, the better off we are. And we are in your good graces to asking you for this help, and we'd much appreciate it.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
My name is Cora Bishop,
I have,
Bishop.
Oh, timeout?
I have,
Oh, okay.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion?
Yes. Brian, would you please move the corner of that thing back? I've watched you pass your head by it 3 times. You're scaring me. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have discussion. We also have, I think, George wants to speak.
No,
You done?
Hang on a second.
no, I'm
Yeah.
done. Let it,
There's a motion on the floor.
there's a motion
Call
on
for
the
the
floor.
question.
No,
All
no,
in
no,
favor?
no,
I
no,
used
no, no, no.
further discussion.
No, I might have to withdraw my motion. The district attorney wants to weigh in on this.
Unfortunately, the contract you have with the landfill gives the landfill exclusive right to set the fees at the landfill. So I'm not sure you have any authority
To waive the
to waive the
tipping fees,
tipping fees.
because we're not the operator.
You're not the operator.
Right.
This is something I think we need to work out with the landfill.
Well, I contacted them, and they said that they have no problem, or they don't have any problem with it, but it had to be passed by the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay, and I think if we do this in a way that you're making a recommendation, I just don't want to get in violation of the agreement if they're the ones who are exclusively in control of that.
How about if I amend my motion to say that the board supports this
And recommends,
and recommends to the operator that the tipping fee be waived on this project?
that's, I believe, it would be the...
That's my amendment.
Okay.
I'll second.
I have an amended motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve this with the operator
Well, just
waiving the fee.
Recommending.
just say that there's a motion to approve. Did you you got that? Okay, yeah.
Second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My only concern with this is that we're assured or somehow sure that that's the only things that they'll be dragging up there to be waived. It's a third party doing it.
That's the only building that's there.
I specified that.
You did, okay. That's it. Thank you.
Call for the question.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you.
Can we recess back to the licensing liquor board, please?
And thank you.
I'm headed there now, Butch.
Thank you.
He said to recess back. Did we already adjourn that? Okay.
We're going back to the 10:30 timed item, Liquor and Licensing Board.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if Brian Kunze is there, Sheriff DeMayo has a question for you and would like to relay that to you and ask it to you.
I appreciate it, Mr. Chair. Mr. DA, we're in the process of granting a request, possibly granting a request for a 72-hour permit on Betty, and it's a ranch. They're having some type of an event on Saturday. The concerns that the Nye County Sheriff has, based upon some concerns expressed by the citizenry, is that they may be conducting a rodeo that may be in violation of some ordinances that we have or some state laws. The question I have is based on the fact that they're getting a privileged permit or permit from the Liquor Licensing Board, is that we have the ability to go on private property to inspect to make sure they're in compliance with all state laws and with the permit, and making sure that the drinking ages and those are enforceable at the age of 21 and above.
Well, absolutely, because the reality of it is they wouldn't have to get a permit unless it was a public event.
Right.
So, if it was a private event, they wouldn't have to ask for a permit, and then, of course, you would not have any authority to go on. But since it is a public event, I would concur with what you're asking.
I appreciate it, Mr. DA. Thank you so much. Okay.
My motion was originally to approve.
And there was a second.
Wait a minute, you said your motion was originally to approve, did we?
It stays the same.
She took it back.
Okay, thanks.
Second.
I've already seconded it.
No, I've got a motion in this. Who made the motion? Lorinda?
I did. Lorinda.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Wickman, a second by Commissioner Hollis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 6-0. We have nothing for brothel, gaming, and liquor. Item 7.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wickman, a second by Commissioner Hollis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we are adjourned, 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. DA.
That's Carl Delane.
Okay.
Everybody knows.
We'll go to the 1:30 timed item, item A, action presentation by Carl Delane with the Nevada Rural Development Council on community assistance.
Did we lose them again? Oh, there they are.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Board of Commissioners, my name is Carl Delane. I am the Community Assessment Coordinator for the Nevada Rural Development Council, as well as I have a small part-time appointment with the University of Nevada Cooperative Extension as a State Leadership Specialist. I had a PowerPoint that I had forwarded down to the Pahrump office, but I don't see it on here. So I will proceed with my presentation. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, actually, in the interest of time, because we're so far behind on our agenda, could we just ask if anybody has any questions about Mr. Delane, about what was in the backup, because we all did get it.
You all got the PowerPoint?
We all got it and have been able to look at it.
Excellent. I would be more than happy to answer any questions that the commissioners might have.
Mr. Chairman, I've seen the presentation 3 times already, so I'm all set.
And I'm ready to proceed to item B.
Can I ask one
Oh,
question?
I'm sorry.
I noticed in the presentation, the PowerPoint that you have back here, it said that you would be assisting with follow-up. What is the agency's commitment to assisting with planning implementation of the findings?
We work with the local community, and in the priority setting meeting, we help establish some work groups to focus on the projects and initiatives that people there are willing to work on. Our commitment to follow-up would be to continue to work with those folks as they might request assistance.
Good, good.
Or to help find the right resource people. That's really the key, is to find the right resource people to help with follow-up.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to make a motion on item B.
Item B, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to...
I think your mic's on.
Yeah.
Action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to, 1, contract with Nevada Rural Development Council to complete the community assessment, 2, in Pahrump at the non-city amount of $15,000, and 2, correlate with the town of Pahrump to see if they will pay half of the cost for the Pahrump community assessment.
Mr. Chairman, I move to contract with NRDC to complete a community assessment in Pahrump, contingent upon the town of Pahrump funding half the cost of this project, and Nye County's funding would come from Fund 247.
Second.
And to possibly identify...
Well,
other
I want
communities.
to save that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that doesn't, I don't think needs to be part of the motion, but...
Okay. I think you have Dan as the second.
Yes.
Okay, Sam, you got that?
Okay.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve, second by Commissioner Shanhoven. Further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I believe that the town board will be receptive to this. They've seen this presentation as well, and at least one of their board members has indicated they're fully in support. Thank you.
Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Carl, I think at least one other Nye County community has already undergone this community assessment project or program. Didn't Tonopah go through this a number of years ago?
Not this particular process, no. They've gone through other assessment processes.
Okay. So then what I would do, Mr. Chairman, is request that we instruct Mr. Osborne to send a letter to the other town boards asking if they would be interested in also completing an assessment. But I think we need to make the same offer to them that, well, I really can't say that because that would be a future decision of the board, but, you know, if we're going to fund half the study for Pahrump, we need to be thinking about that other communities may come up and ask for the same thing. And if the funding is going to be available and where it's going to come from.
Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, I have had conversations with staff at the town of Tonopah and at the town of Beatty in terms of potential of doing a community assessment.
You got it, Rick?
Yeah, he'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll go to 11G, agency status report. Mr. Osborne.
No, that's a me.
Or is that you?
The only thing I would like to add to this, I realize that it's an old one. It's dated, I think, 4/21 on this particular agenda. You'll have a new one on the next meeting. Besides the little, cramp that I get from patting ourselves on the back for 3310, the update on the road project is the contractor has now collected well over 800 miles of roads. There's over 563 miles that you have already approved in one fashion or another, either to set a public hearing Out of all of those roads collected so far, there have been 65 roads that we have, or 65 miles of roads that we have not been able to find documentation on, or the documentation, the roads didn't exist prior to the Forest Service of BLM. I think that's incredible.
That is incredible.
We're doing great.
The total mileage, what percent of the total, or I mean the completed mileage, what percent of the total does that
It's
represent?
less than 10%. 80
Yeah.
miles would be 10%.
Yeah.
So it's less than a 10%. I know it doesn't sound like much, 800 miles, but some of these roads are fractions.
Yes.
You know, they're fractions of a mile, and your setup time and everything is the same. The only other thing I would say is that on the 19th of May, I think it was, the governor signed SB 49. So
we were just talking about that at lunch. Yeah.
The 1st of July, you won't see all of this confusion between
Yeah.
the Board of Commissioners and the road commissioners on the agenda.
It'll just
each
stay on
time.
the road commission
Yep,
agenda.
it'll just be road commission, and it'll be handled in one spot.
I think the only other thing we might want to add to your agency report is that CNRWA is meeting in Austin on Friday at 10 a.m.
Yes, ma'am.
And we do post agendas for those meetings. Any member of the public or the commission who'd like to join us, this is a particularly important meeting because we're going to be looking at a comprehensive overview of all the water legislation that passed during the session. And there are
Yes, that's very important. Thank you
a
for
couple
adding
in
that.
there that absolutely will affect Nye County.
That's all I had. I will take any, if you have any questions on that report.
Just to pat you on the back from here, if I could.
Oh, thanks. My arm was hurting, Dan.
Yeah.
I needed some help.
You deserve it. We'll all pat you on the
Deserves
back.
it, yeah.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
can we go to public petitioners? We have some folks here from Beatty who have been here since 10 o'clock this morning. If we could look at 33A.
Okay. 33A, action, discussion, deliberation, possible decision to fund a Beatty skate park project to build a skate park in the amount of $25,000. Total project cost $50,000. And 2, approve the Beatty Town Advisory Board's decision to fund the other half of the estimated project cost in the amount of $25,000 on April 13, 2011, contingent upon securing funding for the other half of the project, and has not been budgeted.
Mr. Chairman, if I could introduce Wendy Wilson from the community of Beatty. Wendy, you see everybody's names up here. I want to tell her how impressed I was with how well she put this together. She had a dream for a skate park for the kids. She really did her homework on all of these issues, the design. She put everything together. And to me, this is absolutely a terrific example of the power of one person. You got a commitment from Beatty, was it Water and Sanitation or General Improvement District, for the land? Oh, honey, you need to turn on your...
Okay. BGID has committed a piece of property to it, and the Beatty Town Advisory Board has, on contingent, half of the
funding.
Half of the funding. So,
Yes.
yeah, and it's been a long haul. I'm very nervous being up here in front of all you.
It's
'cause I'm
okay.
not
We're your
generally a
friends.
public speaker, but
No worries. Yeah.
But I am here to represent the community of Beatty, and we are asking for half of our total funding for this project of $25,000. Well, half of it's 25. The total is 50.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add a word of support for this, I want to advocate on behalf of this project for a couple of reasons. First and foremost is that Beatty is one of those unique communities that consistently steps up to the plate and solves problems for the county, consistently. We had problems with completing the funding for the fire station, and Beatty stepped up and put their own money forward. The same goes for the ambulance barn. They have consistently and repeatedly offered funding so that Nye County didn't have to do it, to improve the safety and the appearance of the community and the quality of life for its residents. And I think personally, with the collaborators that Wendy has been able to get on this project, it would please me very much if Nye County was one of those.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If I could ask, I guess it would be Pam. She knows where all the dollars are. How much funds are available for Beatty to do this on their own?
They have over 600,000 in their capital accounts. I know they have several projects approved but not funded yet to come from those funds. They have done a priority list of projects that well exceeds that, but they haven't authorized any of them yet or funded any of them. But they have over 600,000.
Okay. I was wondering if, they came to us because maybe they didn't have the funds, but that was my question. Thank you.
And Pam, you're right. They did put a capital improvements project list together to commit the funding. One thing that they want to commit funding for is to actually purchase a residence for a doctor to come to the community. So they're putting up several $100,000 to purchase a home for a doctor, and they're also putting their own money forward to provide a financial incentive for anybody who might sign a contract to come there.
And I have been told there is a candidate for that. I'm off the track now, but there is a candidate for that as well.
So Pam, could you please tell us where the money would come from Nye County's half?
It would have to come from what's left of our capital this year after we've moved one portion of the capital into the general fund to assist in balancing the budget. This would be the remaining portion of the capital fund.
And is there that money available in that fund?
We haven't identified the list of capital yet, but we do have some sizable things coming up in the form of some major requirements for the CAD system, for the 911 system. We have broadbanding ahead of us, and we've got some sizable things that are going to have to come out of that money. I'm not saying that 25,000 is going to make or break it, but we do have some. We're dealing with a shortened budget this year in capital, and we do have some major things we have ahead of us yet that we're waiting to get estimates on.
Commissioner Eastley, I never know you to come unprepared, so tell me where you'd like it to come from.
Pam, where do we normally fund parks and recreation requests?
There we go.
In the past, we've funded them from the settlement agreement money, Fund 492.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. That I was wondering if it's possible to take it from 492.
Well, remember that we're relying on the funds from the endowment fund, the interest from the endowment funds to make our debt service on the jail project. So we've been trying not to use those.
That's just what I was going to say. But I've had several requests from several of the advisory boards too, and Beatty was one of them that called me. And I told them that, I have to see what the budget looked like. And we still got, about 1.5 million for the state to hook up.
But are you going to take that out of 492? Or is that what you're recommending, to take that out of 492?
I'm just saying if we fund this one, we're going to have to fund some more that's out there.
Commissioner Hollis, I will only say again, the reason that I am supporting this is because it's not a group of individuals who are coming to us with their hand out. and making excuses why they can't do it themselves. They're coming to us and they're saying, we're putting up the value of the land. I put all of my time and talents into creating the plan, and the town of Beatty is providing half the funding, and that's why it was easy for me to support this request, because it's what I like to see the best coming out of communities is collaboration
and participation.
Yeah.
All I know is we can spend and get into more trouble. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Are you ready for a motion?
Whatever.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this 50-50 match, but I would like Pam to tell me which account she would prefer to.
I would prefer it come from 490 or 491.
One over the other?
Well, there's 745, $745,000 in 490 and $1 million in 491.
I would say 491.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve that money coming from Fund 491.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. I have a motion by Commissioner Wickman to approve the funding coming out of 491. Second by Commissioner Eastley. Further discussion? Call for question. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Aye. Passes 4-1.
Thank you.
Now is when you jump up and down or you cry, or both.
I'll do that outside when no one's looking.
We only bite on Tuesdays, too.
Wendy, I mean,
Yep,
you
I
did a
remember.
wonderful job. It seemed at the beginning like an insurmountable task, but you did it. You stuck with it, and
Thank you very
I'm
much.
proud of
And
you.
I really hope that I can be an example to other members of Beatty.
Yes, I
And
hope so,
Wendy,
too.
I want you to know, just because I voted no doesn't mean that you didn't do a wonderful job. I just have some very, very deep problems with this budget.
I understand.
And my
yeah.
heart
he
just took...
he does support it. He does support it, Wendy. I'm telling you, he's our money hawk. So
You gotta have one.
yeah.
I used to manage
scary.
a horse ranch, a commercial horse ranch. I know all about budgeting.
Okay, well, you did a wonderful job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wendy. 33B, we'll just do that one while we're here. Action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to renew a contract with
Rexine Worrell.
Rexine Worrell.
Mr.
Worrell, a one-year, beginning July 17, 2011 through July 17, 2012, with a request to increase the rate from $1,850 per case to $1,950 per case.
Brian, did you have an opportunity to look at this contract?
We did. Is Tony still in, Pahrump?
Yes,
Is Tony still in Pahrump?
I am, yes, I am.
We were trying to work out an issue with termination clause on this, and we kept trying to contact her even as late as yesterday, and we were not able to make any contact. So I don't think at this stage we can probably proceed on this until we get the questions Tony had raised with how to having the termination clause in there. And since we didn't get a response
I can
back
barely
from
hear,
her,
so.
and I don't know if Tony heard back.
Mr. DA, I did talk to Rexine Worrell this morning, and I advised her of that. She didn't have a problem with it. She was just wondering why, and I just basically stated that these contracts, this termination clause is basically in all our contracts we have with, we actually have with SNAC and radio communications. It's just a practice of doing business, so. She didn't have a problem with that once I explained that to her in the emails and personally this morning.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I wanted to, I think this is an action we could take. I wanted to know if, or make a recommendation that we put this out for an RFQ. I'd like to see if we could find somebody in this state who, still living in this state, who can do this job for us.
Well, I appreciate Commissioner Sullivan's remarks, but Dr. Rex Worrell actually is a resident of Nevada. And we've had a longstanding contract with her well over 8 years now. And the reason why I did that is because we were having our coroner services with, and just give you a history, Mr. Commissioner, with Las Vegas coroner's office, which were getting ready to charge us exorbitant fees of well over $3,000. And the other issue came up is that we'd have to send our deputies down to Clark County to view the autopsies. Since we've had this contract, we've saved county money. Deputies are able to stay within Nye County, and the autopsies are done very quickly. In addition to that, Dr. Rexwell is very much aware of the cultural beliefs and differences that we have when we deal with matters dealing with the coroner's office. These are not necessarily all routine. These are not debts that are attended. These are debts that become the matter of the coroner, which is me, and my deputy coroners, which are the deputies, the Nye County Sheriff's Office, regardless of rank. And these cases do turn into criminal investigations. When you look at the amount of money we're paying and the amount of money we could be paying, that's something else. I mean, but like I said, is that if there was a way, and honestly, I look at this. I mean, I've capitulated a lot to this commission in the recent budget, and if there's any way of saving the county money, I'd be the first one coming to the county saying this is a way of saving us money. But the fact of the matter is,
Tony, may I ask you a question?
Thank you.
Tony, may I ask you a question then?
Yes, you can.
You have bent over backwards saving the county money. So in this particular case, where everyone else is taking cuts and everyone else is giving up something, why are we bringing the contract back for renewal with an additional $100 per case on it?
Well, I spoke to Dr. Rexwell about that, and as you well know, is that when you do an autopsy, you're doing toxicology, and there's been some increase in toxicology with that. This price has stayed the same since 2003. I did talk to Dr. Rexwell. We may be able to, she was willing to negotiate that back down to $1,800 after I explained the conditions that the county was in.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Whitman, go ahead.
I was just going to remind you that I helped you write this first contract for her in 2003.
Yes.
So I'm aware of the history. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, it's my understanding that she works out of Lake Havasu, Arizona now. And that was why I wanted to go out for an RFQ, is see if we can't find somebody in the state, possibly in the county. I know that's a long shot. And then if we don't find something better or closer, I'd be more than happy to renew her contract. But I would like to give it 30 days to try. That's the end of my statements.
All right. And let me just...
I'm ready to make a motion.
Hold on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hold on, everybody.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Eastley, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion.
Mr. Chairman, could you get somebody up there to...
Hold on.
That's right. We
District
still
Attorney.
have that problem.
Yeah, I
That's
just
right.
want to verify or confirm with Tony that you guys did agree on a termination clause, Tony?
Yes.
As far as with notice?
I'm sorry, Brian. Yes, and I will confirm that after, but I spoke to her yesterday and this morning, and she was okay with that once it was explained.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm going to amend my motion to approve this conditionally upon a mutually agreeable out clause between the county and the provider.
And I'll amend my second.
Okay.
And of course, the district attorney would need to approve that.
Sure.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Sam, you got it?
Thank you.
I have an amended motion. I have an amended second. Further discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is it okay if I talk now?
Yeah, I was trying to, but go ahead.
No, you're not fast enough for me today. Could we get somebody to turn Brian Coonsy's mic up so I can hear him?
Oh, is it on?
Oh,
Can you hear me, Butch?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you either got to get a little closer to it or have them turn it up a little. I think they can adjust that manually.
All right.
Thank you.
If I have to, when I speak, I'll get close to it.
Yeah, okay, if you would, please, because I'm missing a little bit of what you're saying. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. I was just gonna say, I understand Dan's concerns. I don't think you're gonna find somebody in the state of Nevada that is gonna do these autopsies for the price that we've been getting for the years that this doctor has been doing this. Another thing is, we could wait 30 days, but this contract is done.
Expiring.
It's expired. So we'd have nobody to do autopsies. So it's rolling the dice if you wanna go for 30 days and then maybe have two autopsies to do, and then have to send them to Clark County and probably pay double or triple the price.
Well, if you can find somebody to do them cheaper, you might have
I
to
don't think
send
Clark
them,
County really wants to do them for us.
you might
I mean,
have to send them up to Washoe County, and then you've got travel expense.
Yeah,
Okay,
I realize all that.
Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
4-1.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to 25A, action, deliberation, possible decision to approve a filling of a vacant deputy district attorney's position in the district attorney's office. The position has been vacant since May 19th, 2011, due to termination of the employee.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
HR supports the filling of this position from the current hiring list, and my motion is to approve based on the recommendation of staff.
Second.
Have a motion by...
Sorry.
Did you say something?
I guess we got a delay. I said second, I guess Commissioner Wickman said second too.
Yeah, my mic was off,
I think your
Dan, I'm
mic was
sorry.
off, Dan.
That's fine.
I think what it is that I'm getting
Echoes.
Commissioner Boraski's problem. I can't hear. Anyway, I have a motion by Commissioner Easley to approve based on staff recommendation, and I think Lorinda was seconded. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Now, go hire your attorney. Item 25B, action, discussion, deliberation, possible decision and direction to staff to authorize the hiring of one deputy sheriff in Pahrump Sheriff's Office. This position became vacant when the deputy transferred to a vacant position in detention on May 3rd, 2011. The position is budgeted Fund 101 General.
Mr. Chairman, HR supports the in-house advertising and the filling of this position, and my motion is to approve based on their recommendation.
Second.
Actually, it's from the current hiring list. Was the recommendation of HR, wasn't it? Am I on the wrong one? 25B?
You're right. Yeah.
You got that, Sam?
Sorry, correction. Do-over, mulligan.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to
Second.
approve. Second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item D.
Mr. Chairman, may I interrupt for just a moment? This is Pam. The recorder
Why
has,
not?
the recorder has asked that item 25C be heard after all this afternoon, and have it
Okay.
retained on the agenda.
So we're hearing 25?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we'll go to 25C. Action, discussion, deliberation, possible decision, and direction to staff to authorize the in-house advertising and filling of a vacant deputy recorder in the Tonopah Recorder's Office. This is one of the two deputy recorder's positions recently vacated. This position is budgeted in Fund 101.
Mr. Chairman, based on the recommendation of Human Resources, I move to advertise and fill this position in-house.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to, advertise, did you say in-house?
Yeah, just what the agenda item says. Yeah.
In-house, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion? Call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
No.
Opposed?
No.
Passes, 4-1. Item 25D, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision and direction to staff to set a date, time, and location for a public hearing to consider approval of the Nye County Management Employees Association Agreement.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
NRS 288153 requires that we do this. My motion is to set a date, time, and location of July 5th, 2011 at 10:45 a.m. in the Nye County Commission Chambers here in Tonopah.
Second?
Okay, you got that, Sam? I have a motion, July what? July what, 25th?
Yeah.
A motion by Commissioner East to set date, time, and location of July 25th, 2011, and Pahrump Chambers and...
No,
This is July 5th.
July 5th, is that what I said? I said whatever the
think-
agenda item
I
said.
thought you
Yeah.
said July.
July
Okay.
5th in
July
the
5th,
Tonopah
2011, in Tonopah, Nevada. Second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 25E, action, discussion, deliberation, possible decision, and direction to staff to authorize the in-house advertising and filling of 2 dispatch positions in Pahrump Sheriff's Office. These positions became vacant when one employee transferred to a vacant position in Mercury and the other employee resigned.
Why is there no staff recommendation?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah. If these are filled, I really would like to somehow let whoever gets the position know that we are looking to consolidate dispatch. It's my only comment. Thank you.
This agenda item also does not have HR recommendation on it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
This is one we had at the last meeting, and, do you have, Pam, is there something about this agenda item you told me about? I can't,
We have supplemental information available for you that wasn't available at the time we went to press. And so I would ask that you vote to request receiving supplemental information, which documents the justification for the position.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Boraski to accept the additional documentation, second by Commissioner Shinhopin. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
I think we're going to have to take a recess so
We'll
we
take
can
5
read all of this.
Yeah.
We'll take 5 minutes and
No, yeah, okay.
But still, we don't have HR.
From HR in the backup for this. However, my recommendation would be, and I'm going to qualify this by saying we do have some, well, I was going to say we have some buyouts which are going to create some openings, but that doesn't really apply in this case. What I would say is to approve filling these 2 positions with in-house advertising, just as the agenda item says, even though it lacks a recommendation of staff.
And I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve the 2 dispatch positions in-house, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion?
Yes, Commissioner,
Yes.
Chairman, excuse me. If the in-house advertising fails to generate any applications, we'd request that we be allowed to hire from our hiring list.
I think, Rick, that I'm not going to make that part of my motion. I want you to come back to Danelle in that case and let her bring a recommendation forward to the board, because she will have done all of the financial analysis that's necessary.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yeah.
is there any possibility of using temps for this?
Did you read
I don't know
that?
how the the training is really, really specialized, and I think that they covered pretty comprehensively in the backup information that was distributed to us a few minutes ago why they need to go through the FTO program on these.
Thank you.
I think you're rolling the dice on this because one way you either fill the positions or you're gonna pay overtime for somebody to fill the positions.
And I realize that. I would still like to take the recommendation of staff on this.
And you have a second.
I know, but what I'm saying is to post it
Yeah.
in-house first.
Yeah.
And then have staff do make a recommendation.
Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item
Thank you, Rick.
23A,
Couldn't get an word in there.
action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to award RFP 2011-04 two towable trailer-mounted messaging boards in the amount of the lowest, most responsive bid of $34,952,
Mr. Chairman?
funded out of 205 quote.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I could make a motion to approve.
To award the bid to who?
To award the bid, I'm sorry, to two towable trailer, to two, hang on.
To Wanko?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
no, not to Wanko.
Hang on, let me look.
Second.
Schaefer Equipment, Reno.
There we go, Schaefer Equipment of Reno.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wickman to approve to Schaefer Equipment out of Reno, $34,952, second by Commissioner Boraski. Further discussion?
Pam,
Yes.
is there a contract that needs to be executed on this? Oh, here's Judy. Judy, on these towable trailer-mounted message boards, is there a contract that needs to be executed on this? No, they'll be purchased. Oh, can you go on the record?
They will be purchased using a purchase order.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question. Thank you.
Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Shinhopin's trying to get your attention.
Yes.
can we go back to, can we do, hear 11I now? We have some people who've been waiting for that.
Okay, we'll go to 11I. Action, discussion, deliberation, and possible direction to staff to create an advisory committee of 7 people to be responsible for redistricting Nye County. The committee should be made up of the following people: 1 member from Tonopah, 1 member from Pahrump, and that should be 1 member from Round Mountain, or yeah.
It says at large from north of the...
Okay, at large, and RPC boundary out of, wait a minute, at large from the south of the RPC boundary.
North.
And 3 members from Pahrump.
South
No.
of the RPC
North.
No,
boundary?
I
That
don't-
means
no.
Clark
The
County.
north of the RPC boundary.
So 1 from Tonopah, 1 from Pahrump Town Board, 1 from north of the RPC, and 3 from Pahrump.
No.
I think it is missing the one from Round Mountain. I think
There
Yeah.
is 1 from Round
Because
Mountain.
it's not in the agenda item.
Well, it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
add
it's-
up to 7
it's the
either.
way-
Yeah, right.
I know I told them 1 from Round Mountain.
That's not going to matter. The only thing that the agenda has to identify is the fact that you are going to take action on, or potentially taking action on the appointment of a committee to study or look at redistricting.
So,
Okay.
but it is 1 member
Motion
from
to
Round Mountain.
approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastly who approves, second by Commissioner Boraski. Further discussion?
Yeah, I did check with Sam. You don't have a problem with this, and I understand that if the districts aren't comparable in size and if there is more than a 10%, if there's more than a 10% difference between the districts, that this absolutely can be protested at the district court level.
Exactly. Martha
Okay.
had looked this up, and basically it's not against the law, but it is
Right.
Yeah, disputable in court, basically.
It is disputable because it would not be following the one man, one vote
Exactly.
doctrine.
You have an
Okay.
obligation to follow it. The one thing I will make sure we, because I'm not sure where we're going with this as far as who's going to appoint the committee.
I would assume that the Board of Commissioners would.
We usually go and advertise,
Oh, okay.
and then staff usually sends us a
Okay.
recommended.
And the other thing I want to add is to make sure that you understand that this committee must comply with the open meeting law.
Yes.
Exactly.
Other meetings must be agended and,
Somebody's going to have to take minutes, which means staff time, which means money, so everybody needs to be aware of that. This isn't a freebie, it's going to cost a little bit of money. And Mr. Chairman Hollis, the only thing that I would ask is, no, maybe I won't. It says one member from these town boards. What if they wanted to appoint their town managers?
Yes.
Okay,
I
then
mean,
we
it's
need
just a
to,
member from,
well, but
it's
the
a
town
town board.
manager is not a member of the town board.
well, the town board can appoint whoever they.
Okay, all right.
And basically, the alternative is you don't have the time or the staff to get this done anyway, do
Well,
you?
she doesn't have the information. I know everybody has been beating their chests and complaining
Yeah, okay.
that this hasn't been done yet, but we cannot do anything until the governor's office releases the information we
if you
need.
could, I've actually been in contact with LCB on this.
Mhm.
They have given me the sites to go through, and it's my understanding what we need to go through is Dave Fanning has an individual who does the GIS.
Right.
So I need to get with them. They have all of the information by precinct and actually sub-precinct.
Oh, they do? Good,
Yes.
because they didn't have it up about 3 weeks ago,
Yeah, it's
so they may have
really,
that now.
really fresh.
Okay.
I've gotten the instructions for it, so I'm going to give that to the GIS person to see what they can pull up.
Okay.
And they apparently can go sub-precinct into smaller categories.
Oh, great.
So if you have to break up precincts, I think the information that they claim they've gotten from the Census Bureau will really let it make it easy for you to do that.
And that's exactly what we had in 2000.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
And I absolutely don't have a problem with this committee. I think it's great because I think it's really a political issue, first of all, and I don't know that that's something I should really be involved in.
It shouldn't be a political issue.
It shouldn't be, but it is. And the thing is I don't know if it needs to be my decision whatsoever. All I would ask is that this committee work with me anytime they do come up with any type of scenario so that I can take a look at our precincts as well and figure out, just how much work it's going to be to split precincts, change precincts. It's very time consuming to do that. So I just ask that they work with me somewhat anytime they come up with any sort
Actually,
of-
that was going to be my next recommendation, is that somebody needs to be offering some guidance.
And I have no problem.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that this board will work with them, but I wanna.
This board or
And-
the appointed board?
The appointed board.
Okay.
Okay.
And Brian.
I wanna bring up something here. Every census year, you have to do an ordinance, and it has to show how many people are in each precinct, how many people are in each district.
An
We
ordinance?
cannot, yes,
Okay,
the,
I'm just clarifying.
we've had, I pulled 2 of them so far. Actually 3, because when you were on the board back in the days, you guys did a,
You said that like I'm old, Gary. Back in the day.
Get him, he meant it like that.
I'm not gonna tell.
That's sexual harassment.
How old she really is.
Back in the day when I didn't have to dye my hair as often, right?
I'm not touching that. I'm not saying.
Anyway, back in those days,
That's worse.
It wasn't that long ago.
Olden days is
Keep,
coming now.
keep going, Gary, he's getting better.
one ordinance,
I just hope she's only done this once.
Yeah.
one ordinance you guys did was for 4 districts and 1 in the north. Then that was repealed, and you did 3 and 2. Then in 2002,
3 and 2 meaning 3 in Pahrump, 1 in
Right.
the middle,
no,
and
yeah, well, 2 outside of Pahrump.
yeah, okay.
Then the next one was in 2000 where, we've been working off of those figures
Right.
all these years. So, as far as I'm concerned, we've done an ordinance every census year that I
Okay.
know of. So, we can't work off of 2000 numbers in 2010 because they're completely different. So it has to be
Absolutely.
done by ordinance.
Absolutely.
And the fact is, though, is that the districts themselves all grew equitably. There would be no reason to redistrict. So that's something, when you do look at the precincts, if there has not been any change, there's no reason to redistrict.
Then we
There
put the
has been
numbers of the
change.
precincts down,
Exactly.
and the number of the, total number in that district, say 3, and we do it by ordinance, pass it, and we redistrict.
Bing, bing,
Well,
bada
then-
ching.
Well, then that brings up another question. If we have an opportunity to look at those numbers, now that they're available, it might be a good idea to look at those numbers prior to placing all these people on a board and
But that's what they're
establishing the
gonna
board.
do.
I may be able to get on that website. I believe I know where it is, too, so, yeah.
They indicated to me that you have to have the GIS.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, that was,
Okay.
that was the kicker, is that it's a GIS, because I tried. They
Okay.
tried walking me through it,
Mhm.
because they said, well, maybe we can do this, and it didn't work, without the GIS computer.
Yeah, well, I could do it 10 years ago, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think they've done it through
Yeah.
GIS, which I think is gonna
Right.
give us
It'll be better.
a whole lot better,
It'll be
more
better.
detail, yeah.
Exactly.
Then is that the plan? You take a look at those numbers and see if there's any reason for redistricting?
Pardon me? No, no vote yet.
Well,
But I got a motion and a second.
Well, I
on
guess
the
the one
floor.
thing I would point out, to me, I think,
Call for the question.
just from my perspective legally, to have a committee look at it and maybe come up with different plans on how to redistrict is something that you ought to look at. Because again, it's one of those situations where, we have to look at the realities of the north and south.
Right.
And so the question is, are you going to be happy with the district in which 80% of your district is now in Pahrump?
Oh, no, I meant in a situation where all of the precincts had grown
Yeah.
Well, right,
relative
right,
to
but-
each other,
but-
and there was no reason for redistricting.
Well, but when you talk about relative, though, the Pahrump precincts have clearly grown more than northern precincts. And
Yes.
so again, you do have the possibility that because of the growth, even though the districts may very well be legally equivalent, they don't
I
have to be
see.
exactly.
I
You
see.
could have a situation where your district could now be 20% out of Pahrump and 80% in Pahrump.
Instead of 60/40?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
okay.
I think that it really would be wise to look at that to see if that's really how you want to structure the county government. So
Okay.
there's issues other than just whether or not these 5 are equal.
Okay.
But I want to say right now, this is not political to me. I'm doing this
We live in a
because
political
I think
world.
that's what the law says. So, I have a motion and a second on the
Well,
floor.
the law doesn't say to appoint a committee, but the law does say that we have to
Well,
look
I'm
at.
taking that recommendation from the district attorney. Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. We'll go to 11J, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible direction to staff to possibly amend Nye County Code Chapter 5.16 Outdoor Festival.
I have a question on this one.
I have a ton of questions. There was no
Nothing.
explanation. It was very, no, Commissioner Shinhofen,
Yes.
I'd be more than happy to help you the next time you want to prepare an agenda item. I would be happy to help you with a description of the requested action. Feel free to call on me anytime.
I appreciate that. I didn't get to look at this before it was put in. Originally, when I asked to have it heard, which was back in January, and then we went back and forth with a few questions here, and I kept getting asked, what part do I want to amend? And finally, when I did set it on county manager's desk, I had a sticky paper that I put on it that said, gut it. I want to remove the whole ordinance. This thing was set up. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I got quite a number of calls and emails from people in my district who were upset because they weren't sure what was happening with this, and they thought that they weren't going to be able to hold outdoor
No.
festivals anymore.
No, furthest thing for
So
my,
you just want to repeal the ordinance.
yes, this was originally put forward in 1970, right after Woodstock. If the dollar figures were commensurate with today, I mean, it's kind of...
Back in the day.
This is back in the day, Gary. You went to Woodstock, didn't you? Oh, anyway, I had a paper route. I would have gone, but I had a paper route.
I am not going to give him any ammunition.
Yeah, you don't need
He not
to.
only went to Woodstock, he performed.
I bet he did.
And I lived right down the street from it, and I didn't go because I wasn't a druggie, so.
You didn't have to be. Anyway, besides all that, this, I think it's antiquated. The way it reads, if you have a car show and you put a boombox out there and play music, you are a music festival, and you have to pay $500 a day. In today's dollars, it's going to be $2,500 a day. Anyway, I'd like us to gut it, and then if there is, to remove it, and then if there is a need to have something later, we can address bringing it back, although I have had some comments from the sheriff and others about the cost for festivals that are large, and they have to have overtime to have the sheriff there, but this really doesn't.
No.
This is just
And
too
I
inclusive.
I think what's clear is that we cannot take any action on 11J or on 11K, with the exception of maybe in instructing staff to put an item on the agenda to set a time, date, location to repeal 5.16.
You want to rewrite it?
That's
No,
all
we have to write a whole new ordinance.
Yeah, that's probably clear.
We're just looking for direction.
Yeah, so put an item on the agenda to set a time, date, and location to repeal this. That's what you want, right, Commissioner?
I want to repeal it, yes. So I'd like to make a motion then to, on the, to have this heard, to repeal this, whatever, I can't even think of the word here. Repeal this code
Yeah.
on the 21st of June in,
Well, no,
Wait a
you
minute.
can't, you can't.
do I have to do 30
that.
days? What do I have to do?
No, you don't have to do anything. We're just gonna have
Direct them.
staff bring an agenda item back, properly agendized, and make a recommendation for a time, date, and location.
that'll be in total.
And then Sam will have to advertise it in the newspaper.
Okay, so it has to be 30 days?
No,
No.
We just have to set the public hearing.
But
It
we-
has to be public hearing.
yeah.
Let's
But
set-
we have to waste another 2 weeks because we've got to have it on the next agenda in Pahrump to set the time, date, and location.
Oh, okay, we got to wait to even set the time, date, and location. Okay. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
I'll do better next time,
Oh, I know you will.
and I'll look at it first next time.
Okay, we'll go to item K,
Actually, on this one,
action, discussion, and direction to staff to possibly amend Nye County Code, Chapter 17.04.905, grandfathering clause.
and I had pretty much the same question on this. What are
What are we
the
doing?
suggested amendments? What are we doing to it?
Again, Mr. Chairman, if I might, according to what Commissioner Eastley just said, we're going to have to do the same thing with this. What I want to do with this is remove letter H. I have it marked out in the background, and I didn't write next to it, but I want to remove letter H. Call it, it's not that I could care less one way or the other about sexually explicit businesses. I don't use them, so I don't care.
I thought we had a companion ordinance to this, though, Brian, establishing an SOB district in heavy industrial and light industrial. So I don't think you can remove it from one chapter without repealing a whole other section.
That's exactly right. There are, the language, and this is where I was a little confused because we have two different provisions. There's one in the zoning section, and then there's another one under the provision that Commissioner Shinoff is talking about. So they both need to be addressed if you're going to do this issue. Now, going back to just, with J and K, is the board going to vote to direct staff to prepare a draft bill
Well,
repealing the ordinance?
I don't know, we've never done that before.
Okay.
It just comes before
Okay,
us
okay.
as an agenda item to set the time, date, This is a new one
Okay.
on the,
I was just checking for,
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I might,
Yes.
I did ask last month to get some kind of direction from the DA, and he did have somebody else look at it, and I was supposed to have been, told where we were going with that. So I wasn't aware that there was the other ordinance. I'm going through these one at a time to see what.
Not your fault, Dan.
So, okay.
Commissioner, I'm not going to tell you where to go. I mean.
No, I'm not. Brian, we've done that before when we were both running for office. We told each other where to go.
So what I'm saying, Dan, is if you want to do something with an ordinance, I'm going to advise you as to what the legality of it is, but
Yeah.
it's not my decision as to whether or not to come forward.
No, that's and that wasn't my question, and I guess I need to get back to Charlie Watkins, because that's who you gave it to, but he's out till the end of this week. Anyway, the same thing then, I'd like to bring it forward, I'd like us to look at this, and if we have to, the other ordinance, as the one you did, that we call.
You can help him with that.
We're calling out the one business that doesn't get to be grandfathered. This type of business, after 3 years, must comply with all the other rules, and no other type of business does. And my libertarian soul bothers me when I see that. Anyway.
Just so everybody understands what Commissioner Shinoffen asked us to look at is the sexually oriented business that you are allowed to have a non-conforming use only for a period of 3 years. His question really was the legality of that. The truth is there is no, sexually oriented businesses are treated differently. There's nothing illegal about that. Many jurisdictions have this type of a sunset provision. So there's no legal reason to remove it, but that doesn't mean that there's not a policy reason if the commission so wants to remove that restriction, which would then mean that any sexually oriented business that was pre-existing would be permitted to continue in operation as long as they complied with the other conditions of the restrictions on being a non-conforming use.
That's what I would like to see accomplished, but it's up to the board whether they want to have this come back and looked at for that.
Okay. You got that, Rick?
Well, I hope so, but if I have a question, I'll call the DA.
Okay.
Yeah. And Lorena puts many of these items together, so I think she knows what to do.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Item 12A, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to appoint one member to the Nye County Parks and Recreation Commission due to one resignation. This vacancy was declared February 2012. Dan, this is yours.
Yeah, but we're ready for a
Mr.
motion.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Anna Berg, and with pleasure.
Yes. Second. With
Have a
pleasure.
motion by Commissioner Wickman to appoint Anna Bird. Second by Commissioner Eastley. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 13A, District Attorney. Action, discussion, deliberation, possible decision to take any and all actions on the mutual release and settlement agreement regarding the application service agreement contract entered into by Nye County and Data Systems International, a Utah corporation, on April 14, 2008.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 15A, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to apply for U.S. Department of Justice cops hiring 48-month grant for 5 deputy sheriffs. This grant is for $1,153,870 to cover the salaries and benefits for 5 deputies for 3 years. The 4th year requires the county to cover the cost estimated at $420,000 and has not been budgeted. This grant will be administered from 247.
Based on the recommendation of staff, I move to approve this item.
Second.
You got that? I have a motion by Commissioner Easley to approve, second by Commissioner Shinhopin. Further discussion?
Yeah, please be sure to put on the record that it's at the recommendation of staff. Okay, thank you.
Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Stereo.
You're welcome, Rick.
Do we have anything?
Did we do 20?
No, don't worry about it.
We have to propose a
Ain't worth it.
bill.
Item 28, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision on a request to set a date, time, and location for a public hearing on Nye County Bill 2011-08, a bill...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would like to propose Bill 2011-08 and set a date, time, and location of July 5th, 2011 at 10:45 a.m. in the Commission chambers here in Tonopah.
Second.
10:45? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I have a motion by Commissioner Easley to set the date, time, and location of July 5th, 2011 at 10:45 in Tonopah, Nevada. Second by Commissioner Wick.
If I could...
Hold on 1 minute.
Okay, sorry.
Second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion. Now you have the floor.
We have made some changes to that, so I don't know if you want to see those amendments now.
No.
It's not necessary, but...
No, just during the public hearing.
But we did...
How did this come about, Brian? I know Rick sponsored it, but I'm assuming this is your handiwork.
Well, no, actually, manager's office did, but
Okay.
this issue is that the Nye County Code is currently written indicates that your regular meetings are to occur on the first first Tuesday and Wednesday of the month. So we don't meet on, obviously, the first Wednesday.
First Tuesday,
So what this will do is...
Do you know why I
correct it.
never questioned that? Because we have put in our agendas for years that any items that are unheard on Tuesday
Tuesday,
we
automatic.
will hear them on Wednesday, so,
And that's
but we
because
can't do that?
And that's because the meetings
Used to
Used
go until
to
9
go.
o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And it was probably before you'd only meet maybe once a month, too. I don't know how long you've been going twice.
Yeah.
And then there's also some language in the state, the statute that indicates holding additional meetings anywhere in the county, so it's just kind of clarifying some of that language.
All right.
Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 20B, action, discussion, deliberation,
How about
possible...
if I read the title into the record?
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Bill number 2011-08 is an ordinance proposing to amend and add to Title II, Administration and Personnel, Chapter 2.04, entitled County Commissioners, Section 2.04.010 of the Nye County Code, to accurately reflect the regularly scheduled monthly meetings of the Nye County Board of County Commissioners, and to add a provision noticing that additional meetings may be held at any place within the boundaries of the county, and to add a provision to automatically reschedule regularly scheduled monthly meeting days that fall on a legal holiday or other non-judicial day to the next judicial day, providing for the severability, constitutionality, and effective date hereof, and other matters properly related thereto.
You did good.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Thank
Rick,
you.
Thank you, Rena.
I'd like to thank you.
Thank all of you.
Oh, boy.
Thank God.
Item 20B, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to approve to replace the block wall located at the Gabbs Pool in the amount of $13,200.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Boraski to approve, second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion?
Yeah, that must have been a hell of a windstorm to blow down a block wall. Really? That's what it says in here. that
Have you ever been in Gabbs when the wind blows?
I've been in Tonopah when the wind blows. And
Not like Gabbs.
Okay.
Uproots trees.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, could I come?
Yeah, go ahead. Call for the vote.
Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 20. Bob, what are you?
Yeah.
Oh, this is your item.
Oh, poor Bob.
Poor Bobby. He looks so lonely out there. Item 22A, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to hire a vendor to stucco and paint the east exterior wall at the Maryland Galvin complex where the new windows and walls and material were recently installed.
Motion to approve out of 247. Is that okay?
Second.
At a not-to-exceed amount of $3,900.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to approve out of 247 and not exceed the amount of $3,900. Second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 22C, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to purchase pipe material for the new conduit line running to the building located at 871 East Boot Hill.
Motion.
The cost will not to exceed $6,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Out of which fund?
Where's it say?
492.
This is out of the budget you already gave me for the building.
Yeah, but we need to read that into the record.
247.
We need to identify a funding source.
Butch?
Yes.
Says
That'd be out of Fund 492?
Yeah, well, as it's written, it's out of Fund 492 with a special project number attached to it,
Okay.
from the bond proceeds.
We just need to have you read it in the record. will you?
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Boraski to approve out of 492. Second by Commissioner Shinhopin. Further discussion. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 22D, action, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to hire a vendor to finish material and labor to move 3 AC units off the roof of MWRPO building.
Sounds like you're having trouble staying awake there, Gare.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Boraski to approve, second by Commissioner Shinhopin. Further discussion.
We just need to read into the record that we're going to fund that from Fund 247.
Exactly.
Comes out of Fund 247.
Done.
Further
It's right
discussion.
there.
Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Okay.
Did we set a new date, time, and location for Bill 2011-07, the development agreement for Solar Reserve? We need to go back to that one. That's the 10 o'clock, Gary? 10 o'clock.
Where is that?
10 o'clock, item C.
Oh.
Item C, 10
No,
o'clock C.
We have to set a time date.
We'll go back to 10 a.m., item C, action, discussion, action, public hearing, discussion, deliberation, and possible decision to adopt, amend, adopt, or reject Nye County Bill 2011-07.
Do you have a recommendation?
We can get this in on time to hear on the 21st, if we put it in just the front paper. So it's up to you.
10:45 a.m. on 7/21?
6/21.
I'm sorry, 6/21.
At what time?
10:45.
10:45?
Is that okay, Lorena? 10:45?
Yeah. Brian, this item very clearly states that we're going to hold a public hearing, so what form is my motion going to take since we're not opening the public hearing? This was an administrative error.
All we're doing is reset. So all we're doing is resetting it, so your motion would be just to reset the public hearing
Okay.
on this particular bill.
All right, then that is my motion to reset the public hearing on Bill 2011-07 for 10:45 a.m. on Tuesday, June 21st, at the county complex in Pahrump.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eastley to
Did you get it, Sam?
set the public
Yes.
hearing
Reset. She got it.
on Bill 2011-07 for June 21st, 2011, 10:45. Second by Commissioner Wickman. Further discussion?
Bob Jones is shaking his head at me. Where?
At the Calvada High.
Well, isn't that the county
That's the
administrative complex?
county Okay,
Just said county building.
Commissioners' chambers and Pahrump.
Okay, yeah.
Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Passes 5-0.
We got two addresses.
I know.
Okay, item 34, general public comment. Do we have any in Pahrump?
Mr. Chairman, I missed one that Tom Waters left. That was at the 1:30 item that he was wholeheartedly supported it. That's the only one I have left. Thank you.
That's 130A, the
What-
rural Nevada?
Yes, the,
Or B, rather. Yeah.
B, I'm sorry.
130B.
C.
Okay, is there any general public comment?
B.
Not here.
guys.
Not
Is there
here.
any-
Not in Pahrump. I thought you were looking out your own audience there. I didn't know. You still have Bob there, don't you?
And Horace is always here.
And well, there you
Okay,
go.
there's none here in Tonopah. We'll go to item 35, announcements. Is there any announcements in Pahrump?
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Is there any in Tonopah? Item 36,
Motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Wakeman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Boraski. Further discussion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
5-0. We're
I just
adjourned.
want to see what happens. It's like, that's silly.
Yeah, I always wanted to do that too, say no.
Nope, I don't want to adjourn. I want to sit here.
She wants to stay in the hotel.
All she wants to
California.
do is say the word present.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
There, Gary, I hit the gavel for you.
Thank you.